Hello.
Hello.
Woody. Right, so this is more of a podcast, people. Well, one person, that's on.
Is it Gal? Is that one person Gal?
Not a clue. Don't know who's on, because I've not even got the comments on. So
no, JB. Welcome, JB.
Why do you always get the chat before me? Because I can't see any chat.
How's the football going, JB?
Hey, he knows JB. That's why JB's on and all. He don't want to watch the football.
He don't want to watch the football.
No, none of us want to watch the football. Rusty's Aquariums. Hello.
Hello, Rusty. Welcome.
I'm trying to get it on my telly. 1 minute.
We got Jenny's Reef in the house as well.
More followers than Woody.
Of course, yeah. She's got cleavage. She's going to get some stickers as well soon.
Oh, that's it. She's made it.
That's it, yeah. Proper Instagram reefer. Cleavage and some stickers. You've made it.
That's the one.
Right. United won.
So, what we'll do, we'll talk a bit about reefing, then we'll talk a bit about my shit tank, right?
I'm good, Rusty, as you. I'm not bad at all. I've got a few nights off of work, so I'm definitely happy.
You know the one thing that annoys me a little bit?
Did someone say stickers? Seymour, get off the chat and get on the vlog. Oh no, this one's going to be a podcast.
Seymour, when all Liverpool's winning, no one gives a shit. 2 games left, and you're not going to finish in the top 4. So come on, jump on. Stop being a prick.
Come on, Paul, you jump on.
I'm on.
No, UK Reefer. No, not you.
Yeah, Paul, UK Reefer, you jump on. Hey, Woody, I've got one of his stickers.
Oh, yeah? You're a proper reefer then. Have you got an Instagram?
Yeah.
There you go. You're a proper reefer now.
Stu's Reef. Hello.
You're a seasoned reefer.
Yeah.
Yes, sticker man.
So,
listen,
if anyone wants to know,
my 15 years experience in the hobby don't mean a thing unless I've got a sticker. And I ain't got a sticker, so that's it. I'm out.
Someone's here.
Yeah, Paul's going to jump on 5 minutes. Good man.
Yo!
Hey, I'm watching the game, man.
No one cares.
No, the game's done.
You kicked his ass, it's over.
Oh, that's sexy beast.
Ooh, look at that. What a pair.
Look at that. See, you can tell she's making.
He missed it. He missed it. Oh, my God.
Right. Anyway, this is a reefing channel, not a football channel.
See, we don't mind. All we can see is your fish tank behind you, so we don't know what you're seeing there.
All I can see is the back of your ears. It's not what we want to see.
All right, give me.
Get the camera on your tank.
You know.
Oh, he's on his Mac, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a shit tank. That's fine.
How are you, fellas?
Oh, good. My tank's terrible.
Oh,
which we're going to talk about soon.
Woody's misspelled Woody's. It says Wooded, W-O-D-Y apostrophe Y. It's supposed to be W-O-D-Y.
Where are you looking at that?
On my thumbnail. Look at my thumbnail.
Do you know what? All I can see, it just says, "Oh yeah, it does."
Yeah.
Woody.
That's what his wife calls him. That's not what everyone should say.
What up, Greg?
Hello, Greg. So,
how you been, mate?
Like I said, this is more of a podcast because we don't need cameras on. So we'll have a good chat.
Oh, we will?
Well, we are going to do if you start talking
Oh, okay.
instead of going yay with a shit team. Right. Anyway, so I'll start then. Right. No, Woody will start. Woody, how's your tank going?
Apart from slightly dirty glass, it's perfect. Paul, I'm going to ask you the same question. How's your tank going, mate?
Absolutely terribly shite. So this happened. I mean, nutrients dropped to minus 45. Like they literally bottomed out. I had absolutely zero nutrients, and I was trying to get them up, and eventually it flatlined. And then I had a dino flatulent bloom, which boomed a lot.
It's not what
You know what I mean? When I said it was smothering the corals, like it just seemed to happen like within. Right, don't get me wrong. I know that I had dinos, right, but it boomed so quick, like within a day or two, that it literally smothered the tank. Do you know what I mean? When the nutrients literally bottomed out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's affected everything. Like my fish are swimming backwards. My corals are dying, stripping. I've got a colony, a Tinius colony. It's completely stripped now. A few
Paul,
fags stripped.
Paul, you put the link in for Paul.
Link me up, Buttercup. That's not it. Invite.
First thing I want to ask Paul is where he's from, because I think he ain't up by you, but he sounds southern.
I think he's southern, but lives up here because he's got his head screwed on.
He must have wanted a cheap house.
All that.
Yep.
Yeah. So at the minute, I'm in one of them. And people might think I'm bullshitting here, but I even said to Woody, I'm in that state of mind where I just want to pack it up and fuck it off.
Well, it's too late now because I bought a load of equipment off you, so you ain't backing out now.
Yeah. Better get shipping that Rajar out. I'll tell you one thing, I will not give anyone anything out of my tank while I've got dinos. That's the worst thing you can do. You know, if you have a dino outbreak and start giving your corals to people, it's going to be covered in dinos. You'll end up getting dinos.
He's just got rid of it. I don't think he wants it again.
Thing is, everybody has dinos in the tank. It's part of the food chain, but it's under a manageable condition.
You know, you say you wouldn't give anybody corals with dinos. I thought I remember somebody else was given when they had
I knew this was coming.
When they had velvet, right?
Yeah. Hello, Paul. Right, Paul, you need to tell us a few things. Where are you from?
Paul, where are you from?
Hey,
and what team do you support? What team do you support?
Okay, so I am from the south originally. Well, in a weird way. I was born in the north. I grew up in the south, and now I've returned to the north. I've carried the Cockney accent back up north.
Whereabouts from the south would you then?
So I grew up in North London, in Islington.
Oh, nice.
And then basically all my family returned back north, and I got myself a London girl and moved back up north.
Nice.
So what team do you support? What team do you support,
Well,
Paul?
I've got a Cockney accent, and I grew up in London, so of course I'm a Man United fan. I mean, come on, that's the answer about it.
That's standard, isn't it? That's just...
Believe it or not, I actually used to be one of the London Reds who used to jump on the train at Euston every Saturday and go up and watch it. And I'm a season ticket holder, so I've got a few reasons for that. So yeah, half my family are Liverpool, half United, and then a load Gooners as well. So I've got a bit of everything.
Well, you would think being Islington, you'd probably be a Gooner, but
you would think that. But Arsenal were crap in the 90s, so in the earlier 90s, so definitely no glory.
Yeah, I've got a lot of family in North London.
But yeah, the football viewing is not good tonight. Not going to lie.
That's
Unless
why
you're
I'm
Mo,
not-
apparently. Unless you're Seymour, obviously.
Yeah,
As
that's,
soon as you
that's
mention
why.
Liverpool and Seymour in the same sentence, he'll jump on, give you a dig, and then go back off again.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry, just watching the game. We almost scored again and made it 4-1.
Sorry, is there a game on? Oh, there's a
I'm
game
sorry.
on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't. We almost scored, so I was paying attention to that. So sorry. It's 3-1, just in case you needed to know the score, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It was
we know.
good for the first 10
Anyway,
minutes.
Stu's Reef, he had the same issue as me. Nutrients bottomed out, had a bad case of dinos, been clear the last couple of weeks. So, Stu's Reef, explain how you got rid of your dinos. So, I've been in the hobby a decade, Woody. 10 years.
Yeah.
Never, ever had dinos. Do you know what I mean?
It's an easy one. You should know this one. You just got to get them nutrients back up again. You'll be all right.
Yeah, they're getting there. They're getting there. They're getting there. They're getting up. How's your system doing, Paul?
It's all right. It's all right. It's not going bad, you know. I just did some fragging today, and I'm just putting the video together. And at one point, I was using a Dremel, and the Marcus Rashford scored a goal for Man United. No, sorry, the one of the frags flew across the table, so I've got a really good image of that. But no, they've survived so far. So yeah, the Duncan was like going towards all the SPFs, so I thought I'll just hack a bit of it, and it's now 5 Duncans. So yeah, that's my daily update anyway.
One of the quickest corals to grow, then.
Oh mate, it's like
Probably.
fire. I literally had one head 12 months ago, and there must be 40 on it, 30 on it. I don't know. It's mad.
Yeah. Good stable conditions it'll take off.
Yeah.
I remember
It's like
mine.
the India of the LPS world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably all shrunk down now, but. Right,
I had one head of that, and I grew over 100 odd heads of it. And in fact, I think, Markeb, I saw to Markeb. Markeb, I know you're watching. Say hello. Mark will be watching. I put the link in Reef Community Worldwide. So he's seen it, so he'll watch it. So what does everyone know? Anyway, I'll tell you what I've done. Right? So my nitrates are between 5 and 10. My phosphates are at 0.15. I've been dosing silicates. I kind of put a bit too much in today because I was chatting to Woody, so I blame him. I've dosed 5 bags of pods, and I've got some natural seawater here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to like siphon some of the dinos out, whatever I can see, and replace it with natural seawater. I'm going to do it that way because the natural seawater will contain proper microscopic bacteria and stuff that'll be good for the system.
Microfauna.
Yeah, that.
Have you thought about dumping a load of Neophos and all the rest of it, like jumping on the bandwagon with the old additives? I know.
I've got nitrate. I'm dosing nitrate. I'm dosing nitrate and phosphate.
Liquid nitrate and phosphate there.
I'm doing so. Yeah, I've got liquid nitrate and phosphate, but I'm not sticking any shit in my tank. That's like I said to Woody the other day, like before. The only thing that I'm putting in, which is a lotiony portion thing, is the silicates, which is liquid glass. That's the only thing I'm putting in.
Yeah,
But-
there's like a site on Facebook that's like Dino Flagellate Support Group or whatever, and I'm always in that because I've had that before, but they all swear by silicates.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I went in there. I've been a member of that for ages, but I've never had it. Someone had maybe sent me a link to join it, so I joined it anyway. Well, there is. I think I'm on Cruise's one. I know Cruise's got one, and the other guy's got one.
Yeah, he was the one
I
I
did
followed when I had it, but like nothing I did when I had it in my 250, mate. I did that for months. I just threw the towel in. My son was like, "You look at your tank more than me." And then when I got rid of the tank, he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you got rid of the tank." I was like, "What? Are you joking me?" That was hard.
Like for me, what's the hardest thing about with me now? Every year around the same time, something's gone tits up. And if you think about it, Woody, it has about a year every year, innit?
Yeah. You do seem to have a spell of every year. You'd have something, and you'd get the but then your tank always seems to come back even better and stronger. Oh,
Yeah, but the best tanks I've ever had is when my nitrates were 50, my phosphates were 2,
Yeah,
and I was battling air algae in that. Do you know what I mean? That's where I had to stick shit in my tank like vinegar.
I won't go below 10 nitrate and 0.5, 0.8 or 0.1 phosphate at all. Like, I'm too scared. Like, that was a bad place.
I physically could not get them up. I was
it's
feeding.
mad,
I've gone through, like, in the last 4 weeks, I've gone through like a tub and a half of Reef roids and Reef chili. I've gone through like 6 bags of cubed food, half a tub of flake food.
Nori in. Have you got anything that eats nori? Because nori phosphate galore on that.
Yeah, no, Nori's in. Nori's in all the time. It just won't go up.
Thing is, what you need to understand about Paul's tank, he's got a skimmer in there that's rated for like a 1,200 litre tank. He's got a clarity. He's got probably 10,000 litres worth of bio balls and so he's.
To be fair, mate, you're just describing mine. I've done exactly the same, and you're right. Like, you've got to open up the clarity, you've got to stop the skimming, but it don't matter. Once you're there, it's like a whole world of pain to get back. It don't matter. Like,
like I said, for the last month, it's been open anyway. Skimmer's not been on.
Yeah,
but it's bottomed out, completely bottomed out. I do blame the clarity. You're right.
I took my skimmer out my tank, didn't I? Because I run the lowest nutrient tank you'd ever come across. I always used to run a 0-bit system. And I ended up having to take the skimmer out, not running the skimmer. I had no filter sock, nothing in there. Took one of my max spec blocks out, and the tank just slowly got itself back to normal. And bought a couple more fish, and then slowly put the skimmer back in. And that's how I run. I don't run no filter socks, just a skimmer. And it stays spot on.
I mean, I followed that cruises one and back it was probably 18 months ago now, and that was like bubble scrubbing.
Yeah.
H2O2, what's that called in normal terms now? What's it called? Oh, I can't even remember the chemical.
NO2, nitrate.
No, H2O2. What's it called? The stuff you inject in your skimmer, like, oh God, I can't remember the name of that. It's got a common name.
H2. So you've got hydrogen, 2, oxygen, hydrogen, water.
He's on about thingy, why can't we figure it? Ozone, yeah, he's on about ozone.
Hydrogen peroxide. There you go. I had to Google it. How does someone know the chemical name and not the real name? Come on now. I need to get a grip. It's hydrogen peroxide, 3% I think it is. And he was like injecting that in the skimmer. And it was like mad scientist and nothing, like, I didn't get rid of it. The only time it actually got any better was when I went away on holiday and went, do you know what, stuff you, and left it for a week and came back and it looked half decent. And then I started messing around with it again. And it's very bad. So,
my waste tank at the minute is not touched in weeks and weeks and weeks.
Honestly, that's the key. Like, I can't help myself though.
Yeah, I used to be like that.
I'm still lazy.
But after 15 years of doing it, you get a little bit bored. And I only have a tank now, just pure because I can't see myself without a tank. The excitement's gone. My hand never goes in the tank. I don't ever really do anything to the tank. I do a water change when I can be bothered. I've just got a tank purely because I couldn't see myself without it.
When you reefer, like, just what you got to do is spend shitloads of money, not touch it, and you'd never get anyone in Nobby, would you? It's like
no, exactly. Don't get me wrong. I miss them days of being really excited about the hobby and always doing stuff and all that. But now I suppose this is the good side of it because I don't have to touch the tank. The tank runs itself.
You get the reward, don't you?
It looks really good. I mean, the corals are growing out of the water. So suppose this is the good side of it.
Yeah.
My wife just said, "I missed the days of you cleaning the tank." Yeah, I've not cleaned the glass in probably about 2 weeks.
I'll do it.
You do it.
Yeah, Jenny does it.
That's what I'm saying. Tell her to do it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, Jenny's Reef.
Yeah, you do it, Jenny.
I do.
Good. So it's cynos and dinos on it. So
right. So I want a new tank.
Yeah, I think that's something you need to give you that little kick up the arse again. That's probably what I need, to be fair. I've got that other little tank sitting here, beside my tank, and I still ain't set up. I think if I do that, I'd get a bit of the buzz back again.
Yeah, hang on, Jenny.
Yeah.
He's got a tank inside of that tank doing nothing. He's got a cupboard full of stuff on top of the wardrobe. Tell him.
Oh, I can't talk about it.
She gets upset.
Mogsy's in as well.
Pisses me off.
Is Mogsy here?
He's in there
Oh, he's on
somewhere.
the
He's in the
chat.
chat.
He's on the chat. Yeah. Seymour's
Yeah,
back.
there's a link if anyone wants to jump in.
Oh,
So Paul,
sorry.
how long you been in the hobby?
Me? Sorry, Woody. Me, yeah.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm Reef Community Worldwide, you're Paul.
Yeah.
about 8
so,
years. Yeah, there's too many Pauls, isn't there?
No, I'm Reef Community Worldwide.
you know when I'm talking to Paul because I just call him a name or something.
I was watching Cole's video earlier, and he called his son Wingnut. That had me in stitches. I was cracking up. Yeah, no, I've been in it about 8 years, and it was a bit of a random one. 'Cause, like, my mum used to love the old tropical fish growing up. She's had these massive tanks, and I paid zero interest at all. And then all of a sudden, when I had my son, he's like, how old is he now? 8. When I had him, I bought him like one of them bio goldfish bowls just because I thought buy him a pet. He's a kid, innit? And then I put like these activated, this like rock in the bottom, and it went, and then watched the nitrogen cycle up, and I was like, oh my god, it was like mind blowing shit. And then I went straight from that to trying to convert a bloody Fluval 46 litre into a saltwater tank because I thought that was a good idea after watching way too much YouTube. So yeah, I went from like a goldfish bowl to trying to make a tropical tank of saltwater
Did
tank.
you try to make a super simple fluval fish tank?
Oh yeah. I made a Fluval 46 litre where you can only just get your hand in the top of it into a marine tank and put some clowns and your standard.
They're a good looking tank though.
It looked lovely, but you couldn't get anywhere near any of it. It was a nightmare. But to be fair, you cut your teeth quick when you've got a tank like that. And it was all simple. But then after that, I moved arse and then bought like an Aqua Reef 400 litre. Is it Aqua One? Aqua One? It was like a 400 litre with the T5 sort of hood on it and put a load of API bombs in it. But I used like the dirtiest live rock you've ever seen, and it had every pest you can think of. And it was great because I was watching it like as a science experiment, like most nights. But yeah, then it just like then the algae took over because I didn't even know what a bloody nitrate was properly, and I didn't know anything about any of the calcium magnesium jobs. So yeah, in the end, it was a good tank, but it was like a water change was well past what it needed. So eventually we moved again, and I knocked on the head, and then started this channel with the next venture, which was a Reefer 250, which I put into dynos about 5 months in and absolutely slaughtered. And then left that for a bit, and then went back and did the last year on a Max Nano and got the bug properly and started growing a few corals on it and really actually did the research. Now I spend a copious amounts of time watching YouTube, and this tank now that was 5 months in now is looking good. So I've kind of joined it all together. But that said, you know what it's like, get kicking the balls at some point. So I'm always ready for that. And this time I'm going to show it, and this time I'll try and get your lot's help to get out of it. A bit like where Paul is right now, where you need someone to give you a bit of
you've got that
encouragement.
community.
Yeah,
you've got that community to help you. That's the one brilliant thing about this hobby. You know, you find some great faces out there to help you out.
Me, because I'm amazing.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Although we met in a dodgy car park a couple of weeks ago and exchanged some fluids for a
you know
for a
what?
microscope.
I've done that
sounds a bit dodgy.
We met in a dodgy car park and swap fluids. Come on.
Fucking hell.
What that was between us?
Well, just to put it out there before I make a name for myself. Yeah, no, that was my leftover. What was it? The KH Keeper.
Yeah.
When I had a massive bottle of that still, where I'd sent it back off and got a refund on it, and so I gave it to Paul. I gave it to Paul with a little bit of an attachment on it, didn't I, Paul? What did it have?
Yeah, it had a sticker on it, would it?
Yeah.
Oh, UK Reefer sticker.
Because I knew he loved them. After watching your last stream, I was like, right, he's having a sticker. I don't care. So.
Honestly, I'm a fucking hate stickers. Fucking hate stickers.
You can't call yourself a proper reefer then.
I know. You know what? I don't care. Do you know what? Hey, Woody, I'm going to get myself a proper design. I'm going to make myself a sticker.
He's on the bandwagon now. That's it. I reckon he'll come out soon.
Then you've made it. You've made it then.
I might get a sticker made saying, stick the sticker up your ass.
or just get a sticker that don't stick. That'll wind everyone up.
I think it's an Instagram thing, isn't it? The sticker.
That's called a postcard, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, I got on it because my son got I got some stuff from Kraken Corals and there was a few stickers on it. And then I was on Instagram anyway, and everyone was doing it, and he was like, "Oh, can we do that?" And then I did it, and then it's all right.
Do you know what, Paul? Hand on heart, Crack and Coral, when they send a sticker with my packages, I do actually stick them on my cupboard.
There you go. It's addictive. It's like Panini when we were kids. Well, I don't know how old you lot are, but all I know is that when the Panini sticker book came out, that was it.
That was the football things, wasn't it? The football sticker.
Football,
book.
yeah, football sticker book.
Yeah.
Woody was collecting the World Cup 66 stickers when he was a kid. Woody's well old. Woody's like nearly 50.
They always did it though. I swear they didn't send every sticker out in every pack, so like there was no way you were to finish the book. You just keep buying it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure
Well, I used to get it free in the paper. Used to get the book free in the paper. How old are you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm 39.
Same age as me.
Yeah, 81.
Yeah, June 13th, me. Woody's birthday's in 3 days. So I would help it out there for you.
Thank you, mate. I better get a sticker off everyone there.
If there's anyone hacking him, like you just sorted him right out, then yeah, nice. Yeah, you definitely need a sticker, Woody. Like I don't know what's going on there. We need to Instagram the sticker. But yeah, no, look, the YouTube things, the Instagram things are right, but I can't keep up with it. I don't really do Facebook much. I don't like on Instagram. I don't even know how to post properly on it. I'm not gonna lie. So I chuck a few things on it, but I'm not as good as some of them.
Instagram probably is Instagram's a new way to go now. I think that's where
everyone's on it, but it's constant. It's constant, and I'm like, when I do a little bit, when I do some sort of content, I want to put it on YouTube. I want to have the discussion with everyone. Like with Instagram, it's been and gone, and it's in someone's story that's gone, and you're just like, well, I really like that photo, like, but it's old in about 4 seconds. So yeah, I'm
what I don't like about Instagram, right, is it's easily faked. So you put a picture on there.
When you put a picture up, it gives you the option.
Shit.
Yeah,
and I can make a shit picture really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like the live stream side of it. Like Mogsy done a live stream the other day.
Yeah, that was good.
I enjoyed that side of it. It's good for quick point and shoot live streams. You know what I mean? For a quick update.
I jumped on Mogsy's the other day.
You get a few people jump on. You can have just quite an intimate sort of discussion. Really, I think it's quite good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got its uses, and it's obviously if you want to like become kind of YouTube famous, the rest of it, you need to follow all them paths because that's how people get sponsorships and do all that. But like, mate, I can't be arsed with all that. I like cataloging what I do. I like getting subscribers and chatting to people, but I'm not really fussed about this sort of thing. So I'll just kind of go with it. But yeah, I'm never going to be setting hashtags that like the internet up. That's for sure. It's too much. So. But it's a good place to chuck a few photos on and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm not really a social
The thing as well is that everyone on there has got the most glowing LPS corals that you can put in a tank. And then every photo looks like a rave where you're throwing all that paint over yourselves. And don't get me wrong, I love a glowy coral, I love blues, I love all that. But sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh my god, this is. Like the idea of a coral reef for me, and then maybe I'm a traditionalist, and maybe people will say shut up, but I don't know. I like the idea of it looking like a coral reef, not like a pisco. And I think that's probably where I differ from a lot of that Instagram type of thing. So, do you know what I mean? I like that diversity of coral. I like the ones that don't shine up on blues that you've got to look at when it's whiter. My lights on my tank are white from 11 o'clock when they come on all the way till 7-8 p.m. and then 8 till 9 they'll go blue. So if anything fluoresces under blue, I can have a mooch at it. But yeah, that's it. I'm part of a diamond. I think when you watch that Instagram stuff.
Yeah, I must admit, you'd think for the years I've been in the hobby, I would be the same, more of a metal headlight sort of look person. But I love the blue. I just loved it. The blue.
It's nice. It is nice. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is nice, but I don't know. Plus the fact it drives my wife nuts in the kitchen. My mum. She walks in and she's like, "Oh, my eyes are blue." So I've got to put it on later when there's less chance of her being in there. So it's a little bit of the under the thumb bit as well. But yeah, no.
You could just buy some sunglasses.
Yeah, just walk around in the coral. Yeah. Good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, that would work. Although I definitely don't bust them like some of the younger lot do. I definitely don't look as cool, so I'm not sure about that.
The other thing you get with Instagram and all, you get these girls going on there showing the tits, like clenching the cleavages. with 16,000 people that won't have been on 2 weeks.
Oh mate,
You know,
it's
you're
fine,
like,
innit?
Jesus.
And you might get a glimpse of a fish tank like behind her in
Yeah.
the corner or something.
Yeah, no, that is. But do you know what? Like, I mean, more for the people that follow people like that just because of that. Like, it's just a bit. But
Yeah, Gal.
again, I don't know. I suppose if your job is, if your mission is to go and get shitloads of subscribers and you get some sort of money for it, then fair play. Like,
A lot of them are getting sponsored.
yeah, I don't know.
With additives and whatever else.
I'm not fussed. Someone would have to give me something pretty decent to go, I'm sponsored by, because the idea for me is that hopefully the people that watch my videos want me to just tell them what's happened. Like, but don't get me wrong, if someone's going to chuck me a nice big figure or a free that's worth thousands, I might consider it, but I'm not that bothered either way. Like, I'm not struggling, so I like the independence bit.
Yeah, Paul, we've got a lot of sponsors, haven't we? But we don't like to rub it in people's faces or anything, do we?
Nah.
You lot have been touring Vegas and all that palaver with all them Reef celebrities and all that. Like, every time I speak to Paul, he's like, yeah, I know him. Like, talking to them, yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him. Everyone you chatted about, I was like, you know that Jake had? Yeah, I know him. Look, and he spoke to him about 4 minutes ago. So, yeah, like, you lot all know all the royalty, didn't you? So,
Woody's best mate, isn't it?
Get to a Mac.
Jake Adams, it's my best mate. Yeah, Jake is.
Yeah, no, I started with Jake. I was a bit like, he's a bit full of himself. And then the more you watch him, you go, oh shit, he actually knows what he's talking about, though. That's why.
I'll tell you what,
he's insane.
He's more down to earth and he's more truthful in his videos. And his articles are amazing. That's what I love reading.
I started reading them a lot, actually, recently. I've started reading them, and they're ridiculous because he writes really well. And like, I'm not a big reader, but I like the odd magazine and all the rest of it. And yeah, no, he writes amazing. And then also the Reef Builder stuff, the more you watch the latest Reef Therapy ones that he's just started doing, they're legit. And like, it's someone who's run corals for God knows how. He's been in it 20 years. And it's refreshing.
He's a laid back guy. You when you meet him and all that, he's just a chilled, laid back guy.
I think if you were new to reefing and you watched him, you'd be a bit like, oh, he's a bit old. But then, like, that's a reason because he's watched so many people.
Well, he says every name in Latin. Do you know what I mean? He talks about all the proper Latin names and everything. So you think yourself, Jesus Christ, what's this bloke talking about?
Yeah. And it makes you want to say zappy, fluorescent, bloody green booger, dragon soul, doesn't he? Like, he makes you want to say them because he knows all the other ones. Like, he's unreal. So, yeah.
Go, JB. Don't get wrapped up in sponsorship. You end up losing track of what you want to do. Right. So we are sponsored, like me, Woody, and all that. We are sponsored by some big companies, right? But when do you ever see me pushing products online? Or in fact, I don't even use most of the products that they actually sell. It's just that we're mates with them mostly. You know, the companies and that. Yeah, and the thing, it's not that the shit products. It's just that
it's not.
If I want something, I'll ring you
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not changing your opinion.
I will not pour some liquid in a tub, smile for the camera, and pour it in my tank.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. That ain't going to happen.
For the people that get sent stuff and they constantly change their tank because they have to put that product on their tank, and then next thing you know, their tank's suffering because of it because it's not stable.
I find it hard because anyone running something that I want to run, I watch as many videos as there are about it, and then I ask them about it, and when they answer it, unless I know them, I don't know whether they're answering it because they're sponsored or they're answering it because they've run that thing into the ground and they're being legit. That's the bit I struggle with. So
it's like, do you know them lenses that you've got? What they're called?
Yeah.
Orphec.
Yeah.
Right? So Orphec. You know Orphec lights you can buy off Alibaba for 15 quid.
Or what the
strip lights,
long ones, the strips, yeah.
15. Well, they're not even 15 quid. I think you can buy 2 for 15 quid.
Yeah, just the more you buy, the cheaper they are.
Yeah, that's what they're exact same lights. Took apart, they're exact same lights. They're shocking. Yeah. Even Thingy's done the same thing. What's it called? Reef Factory. Their new strip lights. They're on Alibaba in the minute. They're 6 quid each, you know.
Reef Factory, yeah. Well, they're the ones who do the carriage, aren't they? Polish. No? Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, but them strip lights, is that the same?
6-0 or 6-1?
No, it's 4-2, mate. 4-2, mate.
United scored one and he went off and he's been off the whole time.
No, my computer died.
Scored again. Oh,
no, my computer died.
It's that dodgy
Do
battery.
you know what, Seymour? No matter how you throw it, you're still fifth, right?
Yeah, but I'm fifth and I got a tank. So you don't have anything.
We're guaranteed Champions League, so okay.
Paulie, look, Rusty's
Right.
saying he's got the AliExpress light bars, and they're good.
I have the AliExpress bars, they're good. So that's what I'm saying, Rusty. You've got the AliExpress bars, so you never paid an extra 200 quid or whatever they are to buy them.
And you
You know
get
what
the same results.
I'm
So,
sorry.
hello,
What
Reef
is
King. Hello, Rusty. Hello, JB. Hello, Gal Gal. Hello, Raven, and anyone else that's in there. Just say hello.
what are you
Oh,
talking
what's up,
about?
Paul?
You're talking about the AliExpress aka Orfeg bars?
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
So, do you know what? We talk about strip lights. You got Reef Brights. I've not seen a copy of Reef Brights anywhere yet. Have you, Seymour? Have you,
Reef
Woody?
Bright.
No.
Yeah.
Because Tulio does them himself, doesn't he? They're his own design and all that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I'm saying. So you can't go out and get them, but the other ones are all China made and rebranded with a sticker stuck on them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
where
well-
the stickers come from, Paul. You see? Why don't you buy one of them Alibaba ones, stick your sticker on the side of it, and call it a Paul UK Reefer light? Whoop whoop.
I'm on it.
So
mate. That's my next move.
Greg Carroll is always saying that Orfeg doesn't even have like a warehouse in America. You literally, when like bulk supplier, one of the other people order like Orfeg, literally shipped from, wherever it ships from and goes directly to them.
And if there's a problem with them, don't they send you the parts to fix them yourself or something?
Yeah. They had the Orfeg, the UV chips kept. They're actually released a different version, and the thing is, they're like expensive. They're more expensive than Radions. Yeah, Orfeg's been caught a couple times in the US, like selling lights, and you can find the exact light, like not even like. Do you remember the Orfeg Ocean? It was the exact light you could find, just a sticker. Like if you take like a what do you call it? Like your wife hair dryer and put the heat on it, it will peel right off. Yeah, so not a fan.
Well, the Red Sea will come from China as well, don't they? So you wonder how much for that.
Yeah, no, it's not the
China.
made in China that's the problem. It's not the made in China. It's because most things we use nowadays are made in China. Probably manufactured or the components come from China. It's just that
What we're saying is companies that get a light and then claim it's their own, like stick an orange band around it and then call it a nice new light. Oh, that's Apex. Sorry.
You won't find a Kessel. You won't find a Kessel on Alibaba. You won't find an Ecotech on Alibaba. You won't find an AI on Alibaba. You won't find, like, you think of all the other lights, ATI, Loopy, LED, Philips. You won't find the exact light bar on Alibaba. You won't find that. So Orfeg is the only one.
Yeah, they manufacture them in their own place. Ecotech do it in the US, don't they? And
I reckon Apex are going to use the old Philips light and then rebrand it as their own in a way.
Well, they're going to talk about it this weekend at Reefapalooza, right? So apparently.
No one cares because Apex are dickheads.
Yeah, because apparently Paul's best friends with the dude on the
Terrence
Terrence,
isn't. Terrence,
that's it. Tell him,
Terrence
and Tell go back a long way, don't they?
Don't get wrong.
Honestly.
I love my Apex, but Terrence is a bellend.
I like Apex, but it's the people that run it. You know what I mean?
Well, I've been waiting for one for 6 weeks now, and I can't find one. So I've taken my money back. I had my money still with Charterhouse, and I was waiting for the Apex L and Trident bundle. And I'm looking around in the UK. I can't see any
Have you been on H2O?
Hey, but
What is mates then?
Oh, 1 second. Why are you buying the bundle? Like, you don't get a discount. At least in the US, there's not a discount buying the bundle.
I got rid of the KH Keeper, and I had money in with the company, and I thought, well, I'll just get the two because I want something to check me out more than anything. And if I've got the Apex, more for the fact that I thought it'd be a decent toy to mess around with. And then I'm 3 or 4 weeks in, and there's no Apex L, there's no Trident, and there's also no reagent. So I'm like, so
You want a Trident? I know someone that's got a Trident, fully boxed, brand new. Would it?
Well, not without an
Yes,
Apex. Not without an Apex. So yeah,
He's got a Trident.
Who's that?
Got an
Woody.
Apex as well.
Yeah, I just kind of I just thought, do you know what? I'm gonna put that back in my account, and I'll earn the interest on that while, because what's the point? Like, I looked on the UK version of the Apex kind of Facebook group, and no one's got reagents, and I think Kraken got them in a few weeks ago, and then they've been and gone. I'm just like, I'm not buying
if you've got a mate,
That's right.
if you've got a 6 foot massive mate that lives in New York, right? He wears glasses and AirPods, right? I bet he'll send some.
Liverpool fan.
He loves watching football.
Yeah, Scouse fan.
Oh, they've got the Premier League table up there on the. They just got it up on the screen now, showing where Liverpool are.
I took my Trident off, so I don't even know if there's a shortage of Trident reagents here.
Most probably Apex.
Because
Because it's liquids, they'll blame it on chip shortages because it's something they'll do.
I guess it's a bit, one thing though with the pandemic, because when I got a Trident, I was projecting that you'd buy the 6-month reagent, so it would cost you $200 a year to run it. But during the pandemic, you couldn't find 6-month reagent, so I had to pay more than doubled my cost, because instead of getting 6 months for $100, I had to pay $44 for.
Well, they stopped selling the 6 months for that reason, so they could supply more. That's what I read. That they basically cut them 6-month supply deals and split them out so they could obviously supply more people, but in turn make you pay more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And another thing with me too is it says 30 days, but it's not really 30 days because I tended to run my parameters a little higher. So when you run your parameters higher, like, it takes more reagent to get your, like, if your magnesium was about 1400 or 1500, which mine was, and your calcium is 450, it takes more reagent each test to get to that endpoint. So, you can even think if you have your Red Sea reagent, you use more. Yeah. So mine actually didn't last 30 days. So over the course of
So what you're saying that they base it on like natural seawater levels?
I don't know what they base it on.
30 days, you run your calcium at 420, your magnesium at 1320. Things. So that's what they say in a way.
No. This is not a they thing. This is the same thing with any test kit. Like, if you buy a Red Sea test kit and they say you get 500 tests, but if you run your magnesium high, it just takes more reagent, so you get less tests.
Yeah, but they actually do it so the syringe is 1 mil every time.
Yeah. So everybody
you'll get 50 mil if it's 50 tests.
Yeah, but I can't blame Neptune for that when everybody does that. So it's not a Neptune issue. It's just like we were talking. I was talking to somebody about salt today, and when you buy most salt mixes, they give you the amount of gallons it makes, by a lower salinity. Excuse me. So Instant Ocean, it says it makes 160 gallons, but it's only 160 gallons if you run your salinity at like 1.020. So I think like Tropic Marine and like a Brightwell is two of the only a few other ones. Only the premium salts actually give you like, hey, you get 160 gallons at the right salinity. The rest of them,
no, they don't.
They don't. So see,
no.
Tropic Marine, I think, is spot on.
The way that you work it out, it's supposed to be 35 grams of salt in it. It's 35 grams of liter. That's what it's supposed to be.
Salt, though, or with salt.
That's what it's supposed to be in general, isn't it?
For which salt, though? You can't say like 35 grams.
Yeah, it is, because that's what it is. If you get some natural seawater, dissolve it down, it's 35 grams of salt you'll get out of it. That's the way that's why it says 35 parts per million. That's how it works. 35 grams. 35. Seymour, did you not know that? You're a reefer. Jesus Christ, come on.
Yeah, that sounds way off.
No, that's what it's supposed to be.
No,
so it's 35 grams. It's 35 grams of salt per liter.
What? No, that doesn't even sound correct, Paul. That sounds nowhere correct. Where are you getting it from?
I think it was 35 grams a liter on the Red Sea Blue bucket when I used to.
Yeah, it's for one salt.
To get that to 1.025. I don't know if that's all of them, but I remember that 35 grams at the minute, I do like I think it's 88 litres, the bucket that I use to do with my water changer, and I put 3.5 kilos of Tropic Marine Pro in. Do the maths. I don't know whether that like equivalent of that, but that's all I know. That's 88 litres though, so it's not a complete litre.
Right, so the Tropic Marine, it's 625 litres to 750 litres. So that'll be high salinity versus fallow. So it gives you both of them. Right?
So that's what I said. That's what I said. Tropic Marine and Brightwell and a few other premium salts are the ones that give it to you at, the right salinity versus like Instant Ocean gives it, it's not really 160 gallons.
Here we go. So to achieve a salinity of 32 to 35%, dissolve 35 mils, approximately 37 to 40 grams per litre.
Well, where are you reading that?
On the hang on. How do I take that off? I'm trying to get me.
All right, he's going to have a black.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
The camera comes on.
I'm trying to get my camera. Boo! This is my shit camera, by the way. This one's built into the mic. I'm reading it on this Seymour.
So, Paul, you only proving what we said. We said you might have read that for one salt, but it doesn't apply to every salt.
Do you want me to go get another salt?
Okay, go ahead. Go get some Fritz.
Most of them, I haven't got no Fritz. That's what I'm saying. Most salts is around 35 grams per litre. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what most salts are, 35 grams per litre, around approximately. Check it on another one. Just Google another one.
Yeah, no Instant Ocean is nowhere close to grams per litre. 35 grams per litre.
It's like
I've only got the Pro, so I can't check mine. But I know that I've got 88 litre water bucket, and I put 3.5 kilos in, and it gets me 1.026. I don't even know how I got to that. Yeah. I must have read the packet like Paul's got there, and somehow made it up, but I can't remember what.
You see what it is with this and our Seymour? With this stuff here. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the picture. The quality's really crap. Might have to put it on the camera. Like I say, natural seawater. Like if Woody got some of his natural seawater now, dissolved it down. If it's 35 parts, if it's 35 on the salinity, it'll be 35 grams of salt. That's what will dissolve. But if he dries it out, there'll be 35 grams of salt in there. That's how it works. My natural seawater I got today is like 33. If I dissolve that down, there'll be 33 grams of salt in there. That's what it is. That's what it should be.
35 parts per thousand. So you're going on the parts per thousand type scale when they say.
Because I'm a proper reefer.
I don't know. I mean, that's what that means, obviously.
What's it? See, I'm really laughing. Because I'm a proper reefer.
So, Paul, for the next live stream, can you get a Bunsen burner out and dissolve a litre of salt and then wait?
Do you know what? There's actually plenty of videos on YouTube that have done it. So there is actually videos on YouTube.
Do the Bunsen burner, to be fair, mate.
Yeah. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Paul ain't got a Bunsen burner somewhere in his loft or something. Honestly.
I'm just talking about it, would he? Yeah. But yeah, that's what it means. So when they say, like, do you know when have you got the Hannah checker test?
I use the Reef.
Yeah, well, do you know you got one side, you got 1.025 or whatever, and the other side,
you got 5,000. Yeah.
Right. So the one on the left-hand side, it's more. It could change quick with temperature. Where the one on the 35, even though it's cold, it'll still stay at 35. So you're better off using that side than that side. It's more accurate doing it on that side.
Yeah, I kind of aim it at 1.026, but
that's
usually just short of 30. Yeah, it's just short of 35. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
But if the water was warmer and you did it, it'd be at 35. Do you know what I mean? So that'll most probably be higher.
When you read the packet on whatever one I use, which one do I use?
Carl, sorry, brother. How you been, mate? Sorry.
They reckon it doesn't auto temperature compensation. I don't know whether that's a load of crap.
That's a load of crap.
But that's what they reckon on refractometers.
So if you get it and it's 20 degrees, they're going to go, it's all right. We know it's 25, really.
Blame DD. Blame DD. Look at that. It's in writing. We can sue them.
That's not D&D. They stuck a sticker on it.
Yeah. So you know what's funny though? Because when I first ever got these, that one never ever needed calibrating. Like it was absolutely bang on. And then when I changed tanks and moved out, so I ended up getting another one. I've got the Red Sea one, which looks absolutely the same. I was thinking this is the same thing. They've just rebadged it.
They are, yeah.
The thing dropped out, but the thing dropped out of calibration weekly. Like it's all over the shop. And then I got rid of that one and bought another one of these, and it's bang on again. I've literally, you can test that with RO, even calibration. Like honestly, that thing does not move. The Red Sea one in the same color box, looks exactly the same. I know whether I had a dodgy one in between, but I swear to God, that thing weekly, that'll be all over the shop.
The best salinity check is the Milwaukee one. That's probably the best one.
I've heard a few people say that. I use their flukes. I use their pH calibration.
Yeah, the Hannah one is good, but you constantly have to calibrate it. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know what
that don't move that.
Yeah, you didn't get on with the Milwaukee, did you?
No, because I didn't calibrate it and it knocked my tank out of whack.
Yeah, so it's just
so that was the last time, wasn't it?
What you got to do is put when you got to calibrate, you put a couple of drops of RO in there and press 0, and it just zeroes it, and then that's it. It's done.
I'll have a digital one for the old phosphate and alkalinity with the Hannahs and all that, because they're proven. They seem to be pretty consistent.
Yeah,
yeah. Salinity, like that thing works every time. And
I only use pH and phosphate for Hannah. That's
yeah.
Everything else is.
I've done 4 or 5 ICPs over the last 4 or 5 months, and every single time my phosphate on the Hannah ULR is 0.05, usually 0.08, and every single time on the ICP Triton it's 0.02. So that's 3 or 4 or 5.
Oh, hobby grade test kit.
What's that?
Hobby grade test kits.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'll go with the ICP, but where I think I'm higher, I don't want to overdo it with the rower phos. So I always think if I'm in the 0.08 mark, that's close to 0.02, and don't do anything drastic. So.
That's serious question. How much phosphate RX? Yeah.
Get some of that. So if you are a little bit out, you just put a couple of drops in. As long as you've got a filter sock or a clarity or something, it'll bind it up.
What's that? I missed that. Sorry, Woody.
Some phosphate RX, instead of like worrying about overdoing the your rower phos or anything like that.
Yeah.
If you check
to
the
be
phosphate,
fair, I just run a bit of rower phos continuously in a smaller because the thing with the phosphate RX, I don't want to filter sock it out. So
have you got a clarity or anything?
Yeah, but does it go through the clarity? Because I heard you've got to have really tight micron.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You're on mute. I think you're trying to tell us some.
Just drop this down. Just a couple of drops down the overflow each time.
What is
just
it,
every day. Yeah. And just if you have a clean filter sock, it'll go through. But if your clarity is a little bit manky, like if I drop this into my overflow, a few seconds later I hear it turn. So if I need to bring it down, I calculate how many drops I need, and I just take the cover off the overflow. You have a Red Sea, right? And every time I walk past the tank throughout the day, I just put a drop or two, and so over the course of the day, I've done the right amount of drops. As if you put it in the tank, it's going to get cloudy and it'll take a while to get filtered out. But just 2 drops in the overflow each time.
No, what I've noticed when it goes cloudy with that, when it clears up, for some strange reason, your tank looks so clean.
Yeah, it does. Because it binds up everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I've heard that the actual particulates floating around is not healthy. It irritates some fish. Depends on their gills. So that's why I don't do it. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, it's lithium chloride, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not even
the one that I watch with that is Milev's Reef. He swears by lanthanum chloride in his tank for phosphate.
Yeah.
But he uses like a really tight micron filter sock. Like I don't even know what it is, but it's like a level that I've not seen in the UK tight level of filter socks. And I didn't think the clarity was at that level, so I just sort of dismissed it, thinking, well, I'm not putting another.
I've used that for years. Everyone's used that for years.
It's because, but if it's a little bit dirty, if you're using a brand new clarity, and it didn't have any particulates on it, but as particulates go through, a sock, it gets blocked. So yeah, so you just put up, yeah, and that's why I only do a couple of drops at a time. I don't want a lot that'll get pushed through. So just a couple of drops. I have it here at my desk ready because I'm in the process of like, bringing my phosphates down. So I'll do it, and it works. And you can actually, if you stand there one day and just put the right amount of drops in the tank, and then you give it a couple hours for it to get filtered out, and then you go back and test, you'd be surprised how like immediate the results are.
How often do you use that?
I was using that. I was only doing it once a week, and it keep my phosphates down for a week.
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I don't have any reactors on the tank, so I don't want to mess with like a GFO reactor. I run carbon occasionally, so it was just easier to just do this versus doing something else. And then my nitrates stay, at a reasonable level. It's just, I think because I make this crazy fish food, the phosphates creep up. So I'm happy with just doing this. And this thing,
that chloride bottle, that bottle there, lasts a lot longer than a big tub of raw phos.
Yeah.
Paul, I've had my phosphate RX. I've had the same bottle for about 8 or 9 years.
yeah, I've had this for 2 years, and I've actually lent it out to a bunch of people. I've shipped it to a couple of friends and lent it to them, and they sent it back. So I still have a third left, and it's 2 years. And I've had people with bigger tanks like use it, so it'll last you a long time.
I need to have a look at that then, because like I just usually run in a reactor continuously, and then just the phosphate starts rising. I just change it out.
It costs you a fortune.
Well, that instantly drops your phosphates.
Yeah.
So if you're going up, as soon as you put that in, your phosphates will drop the same day. Instantly. It binds, what the cloud on it says, it binds the phosphate particles. So literally, it's calcium. It's calcium and phosphate. What that does, it takes your calcium and phosphate, and it binds them together. And then they turn into like a small particle, which just drops into your sand bed or goes through your filter. And you can't see it. It's minute.
Even on the thing, it says may cause labored breathing in some wrasses and yellow tanks. It says that on it.
I thought that meant in humans then for a minute.
Yeah.
That's only when you overdose it.
Well,
that's when someone puts like 50 drops in when they don't need to.
Well, look at me, Lev. I think when he does it, he puts about 37 drops in or something.
Mate, he canes it. He'll wait till he's at like 2 phosphate and then just bangs it in there. Puts
Yeah, and he does the thing. He does it overnight as well when your pH is even lower. And
I don't care how much it drops. Like he's not worried about it dropping quickly. He's not worried about it being in there and flopping everywhere.
He just does it, and he's got a tank in his tank. I think he's had for about 20 years or something. I think he says.
Yeah.
So it's most probably because it's most probably not that lanthanum chloride there is strong. He's most probably using a weaker version.
He's using phosphate RX.
He uses that phosphate RX.
Yeah, he uses phosphate. No, lanthanum chloride is lanthanum chloride. Like there's a couple a Brightwell. There's a few companies that have.
Yeah, some are strong, some are weak. Like if you buy it in a big bottle, you know it's weak. If you buy it in a
the Brightwell one is
weaker.
weaker.
You know it's strong as shit.
Yeah. You know how when you're dosing like calcium and you pour it in and the water looks like it changes viscosity a little bit right at the top? That's what happens when you drip this. And then you just see like the water gets white because it precipitates into like white. I don't know what you call it.
It's the calcium. It drags the calcium out of the water. That's what the white is. So it literally drags the calcium out of the water and it binds with the phosphates.
I like it.
It'll drop your calcium by like 0.1. So a tiny bit of calcium will take out, but it'll bind all the phosphates.
Basically just precipitates it then. Yeah.
Yeah, it precipitates, in a way, yeah.
Chemistry lesson every day, innit?
I want to know, he went, you know what, I'm going to stick some lanthanum chloride in my aquarium. I want to know who did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who tested that first?
Who tested soda ash? Who tested kalkwasser? Who tested,
All right, then. Who tested putting milk? Who tested putting cow's milk in tea? Yeah, who tested putting cow's milk in tea? Who went under a cow and pulled its tit and went, I'll have that in my tea? You know what I mean?
The person is just milking all these almonds to get the almond milk.
I know, yeah.
I've never seen.
Where's the tit? Where's the tit in an almond, would it?
Yeah, I've never seen a tit on an almond.
This always goes sideways, Paul. Always.
And the thing is as well, Paul. who tested the underwater refugium light first?
Yeah, Michael.
Hey,
That's why I end up
Seymour.
with an haircut like that.
Seymour, you knew it was coming.
And that only happened by mistake. He didn't know he was doing an underwater refugium light.
Seymour's keeping quiet. Yeah. Seymour's usually you. Right, let's talk reefing again.
Got any questions or comments or whatever in the chat? Who's got,
Yeah, you're getting murdered here by Carl, Mogsy. You're leaving them all out. I can see in there.
Hey, Paul, UK Reefer, not Paul, Reef Community Worldwide. Tell me a little bit about your tank and what kind of equipment you're running there. I think you got Radeon Gen 5s.
Yeah, so it's a 425 XL. It's got 2 G5 Pros for lights, a couple of MP40s. Yeah. So I like the light. I was saying earlier, I use the whites a lot more. So I run the tank quite white through the day. So I went with them rather than the blue. And then return pumps are Vectra M2. What else we got? Clarity 3000, and then it goes through Nios 160 skimmer, which is probably overkill for it. After that, I was saying that to Paul the other week actually, that I can't get a decent skim head on it. I just don't think it's overkill after Clarity. It does such a good job. I probably could have had the 120 on it. And then sometimes a bit of carbon, sometimes a bit of Raufoss. And that's pretty much it. I've got a little UV on it, like a 20-watt one. I just put it on for the sake of it. I thought, why not? And then it goes back up. So, yeah, that's it, really.
How much fish?
I've went for bigger fish in this one and not as many. So, literally, I've got 1 clownfish, and that was a pair. One of them just literally turned up dead one day. I do not know why at all. And then a hippo tang, a really big, I think in America they call them a 5-stripe wrasse. In the shop that I bought in, they called them a quincavitatum wrasse. That's taken me loads of time to get right. It's a big beast, and it's not ideal because it loves having a go at the snails. And literally, I put a few other wrasses in there, and it literally beats them down. But
Yeah,
I quite
know
like it. It's really pretty. So at the moment it's all right, but when I want a clam, it may have to go. And then also I've got 2 rabbit fish, a fox face, and also a massive orange spot one, which again I thought looked a bit predatory. It's one I've never seen before, so I went with that. And they're like beasts on the algae. I have not got the slightest hint of algae in this tank because two tangs. I've got a yellow tang in there as well, which I ran and got urgently when I saw the Hawaiian ban. I paid like £90 for it, which is just before they were floating around for 28 quid in the shop that I got them from, and I was like, no, I can't believe it. But now apparently it's worth about 400 million quid, so it was a good investment. So
yeah, so it worth 400 million quid. Some prick that wants to pay that amount of money. Now I'd wait because 4 more time they'll be back out again. So
I know.
No,
it'll be worth
they won't be
again in 5 years' time.
They won't be back out again. It's going to be captive bred. It's going to be a lot slower than you think.
Seymour, right? Them fish are nowhere near being like endangered. They're absolutely quadrillion, and they breed like hell, right? And the amount of money that they'll lose in Hawaii for it, they'll come out again. They'll come out.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will. How much you bet?
We'll
do a bet now. I bet you $1
Okay. That's
we've got that
$2
documentary coming out though, isn't there? Have you seen the new documentary coming out? That is not going to help matters one bit. The Dark Hobby, that's coming out on Amazon this week, the end of this month.
Yeah, Paul. The evidence. Well, listen, I don't live in Hawaii. I'm nowhere near Hawaii. But from what I've seen, the evidence is already there that like I'm not saying the population isn't threatened, but the aquarium hobby takes a lot less than even like regular fishing. So if that is there and it's gone, I think you'll actually see more fish leave more than you see those fish coming back. So,
I think the problem is, so for every like 1,000 fish that they take out for the aquarium hobby, only 100 of them survive.
Yeah, well, it's not up to me to tell somebody how to manage their resources. I'm all the way across the world in New York. I'm not going to tell Hawaiians, right? I'm just saying, I just want to get a yellow tang in my. It's not up to me to tell somebody in Hawaii how to manage their natural resources. Just like I wouldn't want to come to, Manchester and tell them how, you guys should, manage your things over there. So it's not up to
You
me
don't
to
want to
tell
tell
them so.
Mancunians anything,
Like
though,
going to
mate,
Liverpool.
honestly. God, don't do
Like
that.
going to Liverpool and saying, don't nick them hubcaps. You know what I mean?
Even worse, Liverpool, mate. Honestly, between the two of them, don't tell them anything. Honestly, you've met Paul. You know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, that's true. We've met other Mancs too, so we definitely know what we're dealing with.
I've been up here 10
Dean
years. And
Seymour,
literally, I go into the shop
hey.
round the corner, and they still look at me like I'm going to nick something because I'm from down south. It's really funny.
Oh, we actually had people that nicked stuff off of us, right, Woody?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So
Yeah. Don't leave
Me
a
and
wallet
Seymour,
cash
me and
in
Seymour
your
were that
hotel room.
close. Me and Seymour were that close. We even talked on the subway, didn't we, Seymour?
let me don't go any. You see the way Paul is. The good thing, and I guess the bad thing about Paul, like Reef Community Worldwide, is the same person you hear now is the same person in person, like
Anywhere.
anywhere, like anywhere,
You
any
could be in a
place.
church. You could be in a
Oh.
rave. You could be. It's just the same person anywhere.
So I took them. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly, but they're in New York and we're going to Staten Island. So Staten Island is the least populous borough of New York City. And I'm telling Paul is like, hey, what's Staten Island known for? And I say, hey, at one point they had like the world's biggest landfill dump there. And he's like, all right. So we're taking the ferry to Staten Island. And I mean, we're on a ferry filled with other Staten Islanders, people who are going home. And across the boat, Paul is like, hey, Oral, what do you say Staten Island is known for? You said it's a dump, right? And it stinks.
Stinks of shit.
I'm like, dude, you can't. And I'm walking away from him, and he keeps walking behind me like, hey, what do you mean? And I'm like, jeez. And I look at his wife, and she's like, oh, jeez.
Well, it's not your fault it smells of shit, is it? The good thing is we went on the boat that Spider-Man was on, Woody.
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah. And we met him, didn't we? He was there when we was on that boat.
Yeah, Spider-Man was on that boat, Seymour, with Iron Man.
Yeah?
Yeah, he didn't see. He wrote it on the side of the boat. Spider-Man was here. 2019.
Did you not see Seymour in Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man film?
Yep.
They're on the Staten Island ferry.
No, that's the one with Iron Man. Spider-Man is from Queens, man.
Yeah, I know, but Spider-Man was on the boat. He was there on the boat with Staten Island.
Oh, he was? I must have missed him.
And we went to the Avengers, where the Avengers did all the Avengers stuff.
Oh, that was at Times Square where you saw all the, right?
No,
that was at the
Grand Central Station.
Grand Central Station.
Grand Central Station, where Iron Man's on the floor, half dead after he falls back through the old.
Falls back. He's been for his poo.
Are we talking about the movies? Or are we talking about when you guys were here?
We were talking about both.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to talk on the train either, Paul, because Seymour don't like talking on the train.
Well, if you're murdering all the Americans on the train, I'm sure that's probably quite.
No, I'm talking on the train. He's telling me to shut up. You're not allowed to talk on the train. I'm like, you what?
To be fair, though, if you grow up in London, it's probably similar, because if you open your mouth on the tube in London, you end up with grief anyway. It's the same thing.
No. It's not about you opening your mouth. It's about a mank being loud on a crowded New York City subway train. There's like, because when I'm talking to him, I'm going to come closer to you and I'll be like, hey, Paul, what's up? He's all the way across the street. Hey, Seymour, where do you think the subway goes? You think it stinks in here? My God, it stinks. So it's not that you can't talk. You know. Yeah.
Oh,
that's it.
Best one is when we walked from Times Square to the 9/11 monument. Seymour, how long's left? 10 blocks. Once, Woody.
Oh my God. So he says, it's only about 10 blocks up here, +2, -1, at 18.
Walking for hours and hours and hours.
We was.
I never said that.
What was we
I
at?
never said that. Never said that.
8th Avenue, 47th Street. We was, weren't we? And we had to get down to 1.
I never said that.
He's meant to be a New Yorker. Don't even know where he's going.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
So I've
Cheers,
been having some
the band,
drama.
going back.
I've got some more. I've been having some drama this week. So my ICP tests come back, and out of absolutely nowhere, the metals on them have been amazingly like they've been zero continuously throughout. And then the last two, all of a sudden, some tins turned up. So not like multiple different metals where you've dropped a razor blade in and whatever, but just tin. And I'm like, come on, what is that? Like, you know what it's like? All of a sudden, start looking everywhere. I've replaced all the RO membrane, all the RO stuff in case it was coming in. I've gone through the other thing. I made
check the screws.
Yeah.
Check for rusty screws in all your equipment.
So I've cleaned every pump because it was 5 months anyway, and I usually do it at 6. So I've just cleaned everything down to the point. Like every pump, everything's gone out, everything's been cleaned, nothing there, not even a hint of it. I've replaced all the RO membrane. So I was thinking it probably is that, and I haven't given it enough time to check it. But just as I did it, I knocked the little tiny light, and I bought a few little lights in the sump, like magnet lights that you can charge with a USB that come on with motion, and they're amazing, and they're really cheap from Amazon. And I've knocked it straight in the sump. I was like, oh shit. And then I opened it up, and every single screw on it is completely covered in rust, and I've just dumped it in the sump. So I was like, you idiot. Out of all the things, there was like and the magnet plate was rusting as well. So out of all the things, you just think, like, all the equipment I've just put on that, proper Reef friendly equipment, I've just then put like a cheap Amazon light right above the sump in the water and dumped rust in it.
You've been watching our aquariums.
What's that? I
He's
missed that.
taking the piss. When I've had metal problems, it's usually, I'm glad you caught it. It's usually the frag racks. I used to get those Innovative Marines little, like, the clip, gourmet clip. Those things always rust.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
It's
Anyway,
tin.
so
It's
we'll
not.
see.
It's
I'm going
not.
to do a couple of water changes and see what happens.
Yeah, if it's like normal screws and all that, it's not too bad. If they're zinc coated, that's bad. If the tin, obviously that's not good. Do you know what? If you're Yorkshire and you say it isn't in the tin, do you know how they say it in Yorkshire? Tin, tin, tin.
Who that was coming?
Let me go back. When you were telling me about your tank, just one thing. You said your skimmer doesn't pull much because you have the clarity.
It does. It doesn't. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. Saying that, my nitrate doesn't move off of 8 to 10, and I'm still currently doing like weekly water changes because it's quite a new tank and I don't have a big coral load, so I'm just doing them at the minute whilst to keep the sort of levels at that point. But yeah, every now and again it has a point, but then I've changed another thing recently and I think it's made a difference. So the next thing I saw was our friend Jake Adams, and he was basically saying about feeding. Now, I prefer to feed flake, and I've got loads of all the different things. I've got the mastic on the walls, I've got the bloody, and I used to have just tons and tons of PE mysis. But what I noticed is I was using mysis every day, and one, he was saying that's just going to dump loads of stuff. And the other thing is I was dumping in 4 cubes of mysis in, and it was getting eaten up straight away, and I was dumping all the liquid in. And that kills your skimmer foam, apparently. And I think that's what my problem was all along. Because the last week or two, I've stopped feeding as much PE mysis, and mostly I just do flake and a bit of nori. And the fish are fat as hell, and the foam stayed consistent, and it's starting to pull a little bit more out. So I wonder whether that was it. I don't know what you guys think.
That liquid on the is good for your corals, though. It's good coral food. The liquid, like the.
Yeah, see, I thought that, but it's killing the skimmer foam. Then I thought about it, and I dosed 4 or 5 mils of acro power a day for aminos anyway. So I feel like I've got good nitrate, I've got phosphate, I've got aminos, and I'm keeping my nitrate phosphate steady each week. I feel like, why am I going to add even more shit into it? Surely I've got enough for them. They're growing. I don't know.
I think as the fish grow, I've seen it, and I think Paul saw it too. But once you add the clarity, the skimmer performance tends to deteriorate, or it's just inconsistent because it's just pulling everything before it has a chance to break down. So until you get more bio load or your fish get bigger or you have your corals grow, you're probably going to see. But anytime you change foods, you also see, whatever is skimmed out, that also changes. If I do a lot of pellets, my skimmate is different. If I do a lot of seaweed, your skimmate is different. So I think you'll see the same thing. I don't know if one food has more phosphates or the other, but you'll see your skimmate being different depending on your.
To be fair, you're probably at a good happy medium. Do you know what I mean? If every now and again when you dump food in, you get your skim head goes a bit, crap. It's not a massive deal, is it? Because you're not feeding all day, every day. So long
I'm not
as
struggling with the nutrients. So as far as I'm concerned, even if
you've got
aerated,
clarity on there as well. You've got clarity on there as well. So you're still getting your mechanical filtration. So I wouldn't stop feeding something just because your skim head drops for 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
But I think also, even if it was just... So again.
What I'd do if I were you, I'd just close your clarity and shut your skimmer down until your bio
But then
shoots
saying
up.
that, I'm quite, even if the skimmer's not pulling anything out, I'm still quite happy that it's aerating the water and providing oxygen.
Yeah, that's what we're...
And also, I've just put a CO2 scrubber on it, and that thing burns through the media, and the amount of dosing of the Alpha Reef has gone through the roof since putting that. It's literally added about 30% overnight when I started CO2 scrubbing.
Your pH has gone up, so your corals are
pH is going up,
more, it's growing more.
So I mean, this is why I wanted to get the Apex, because I really want to monitor the pH closer. But yeah, the crappy test I'm doing is showing it higher than it was, and that's why I was hoping the Apex would show me that for real. But yeah, it's color changing media, and since I've done that, literally in 2 days, I went from like 35 mils of Alpha Reef, and I'm now dosing 65 within a couple of weeks. It's gone up massively.
You're seeing exactly. So I know you're seeing so I live, in an apartment with my wife and 2 kids, and if I don't, so I run my skimmer line outside, and if I don't do that, my pH doesn't get above 7.8. So I actually, the way I do it is there's a outside line with a CO2 scrubber on that. The media lasts a long time that way, but I can't get if I don't do Kalkwasser and airline outside, I can't get my pH above 8. I get it to about 8.2, 8.3 with both, but you definitely see a difference in consumption.
It was like a light going off. It was unreal how quickly it made the difference.
That's one of the.
My dog sleeps in the room where my tank is, so I don't know whether it's the dog. I'm going to blame the dog, but it's not a big dog. It's like a Jack Russell, so it's probably a little bit harsh. But
yeah, I think it depends on where. Here we have the issue more in winter because everything is closed and our homes are insulated, probably more than I think. Our homes are more insulated than they probably are in the UK because we have colder weather, and we don't have central air conditioning. Well, some places where the air gets recycled in and out a few times per hour, they probably have better pH. I know, some of my friends in California don't have to do anything to have a decent pH because central air. While some of us do, you do find I've seen a big difference. Like Woody has his skimmer off. I could never do that. My tank would suffer if I could. Even if I don't need it for nutrient export, I need to have my skimmer running at all times.
That's what I was thinking. I'm quite happy, even if if my nitrates are okay, the phosphates are being handled. I'll have it on dialed down just to keep the oxygen exchange. I'm quite happy with that. So
just run your skimmer overnight. Just run your skimmer through 12 hours of the night, turn it off during the day or something. You probably get a better skim out of it, and you're still getting your pH boost from it.
If you keep that's kind of true, but if you turn the skimmer off, you'll see an immediate obviously he can't tell because you don't have an apex, so you can't see the trend line.
That's what I mean.
But I know what you're saying, Woody. But for me, at least, it doesn't work that way. I need to have it. If I turn my skimmer off for 2 hours to do let's say a water change, or I'm messing about with the tank, the pH, it's not going to flatline and fall off a cliff, but you do see where it levels off, or it doesn't
rather than absorbing just O2.
Yeah. And I've heard people say, hey, point your power at the surface. But if the air has CO2 in it and you're doing more gas exchange with the CO2 inside, it's not really going to help.
But I know it's pulling something out, and worst case, it's pulling something out, and in worst case, it's injecting O2 rather than CO2. So, and I've bought the damn thing now anyway. So, hindsight, I probably would have got the 120 and saved myself 200 quid or whatever the hell the difference in prices. But it's working. I'm not going to change it because the reality is that will take me up to a massive tank if I ever changed it. Not that I want to, but it's like it's here now, so I'm just going to lose money if you start messing around with it. So.
So Woody, let me and I've heard some people just I've heard people say like I'm not looking like when you have a mature tank. Some people just say, hey, I'm not looking for that crazy growth. So Woody, imagine if you ran your skimmer all the time and you doubled the growth. I think that's not something you probably want, right? Double growth the way you're having.
I'd be in dire straits if that happened. My fish would not be able to move. They'd be stuck against the glass.
Yeah. So when you have frags, you probably want faster growth. But when you're in like Woody, he has a small tank, but he has huge colonies at this point now. So it probably have to dose more. And I think he has his tank in like easy mode now. So imagine if he had to dose more, and the corals are growing faster, so it would need more elements, more everything. I don't think that's something Woody would want right now.
Well, no, my tank is settled now at 10 mil of Alpha Reef, 1 mil of Acro Power, and I'm golden. That's it. That's just my tank just ticks over.
You run it lower pH, Woody, don't you?
No, to be fair, do you know what? I can't look on my phone at the minute. Paul, you got your phone handy? Look at my pH for me.
I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, go on. I don't think my pH.
I don't think Woody's pH gets that high.
It's not that. It shouldn't be that high at the minute, but it probably
8.1.
What now? What was it today?
Do you run low alk though?
8.36 is the highest it goes.
Yeah,
and
so
yours go to actually
7 a day.
Yeah, Woody, I think your pH, to be honest, your pH sees one of the widest swings I've ever seen. Yours go to like 7.6 during the day to like 8.36 during. Yours go to 7.6 at night, all the way up to 8.3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's literally an autopilot now. I think the tank's got so used to them parameters and the corals and everything else. It just.
Night, JB.
Yeah, Paul's goes from 7.9 at night up to 8.1 during the day. And you also there's a couple of things that also affects your pH. I find that when I run a higher alkalinity, my pH also stays higher. So that's why I run
my alk's only between sort of probably 5.8 and 6.2. That's maximum.
Yeah. So if you ran your alk at like 8 or 9, you'd probably be up to 8.4, Woody. But I run my alk at 9, 9.5.
You're dosing. Do you just put the 60 mil in a day? That's it.
Who, me?
Oh.
No, I do it over the whole day and night. So I kind of dose slightly more during the day and less during the night. But
if you dosed it just at the night time, if your pH rises normal during the day and you dosed it just at night time, it raises your pH when you're dosing and all.
See, I thought
Reef doesn't affect.
That's a good point.
This carbonic acid or a calcium formate. So
no, it doesn't affect pH. It doesn't affect it at all. It doesn't raise it or lower it at all. Alpha Reef is, and also Alpha Reef. I dose my Alpha Reef equally throughout the day because it takes 24 hours to show up in alkalinity test. It's not immediate. It actually takes
a day.
Yeah, a day to fully. Let me not say to show up.
To fully show up.
Yeah.
Does it bind with carbon?
Yeah.
In the system.
I just started mine last week. So it
doesn't do the same thing as 2-part, whereas 2-part has all the 2-part raises your salinity over time as well, whereas Alpha Reef doesn't. It's a different.
Yeah, I think the Alpha Reef has got to bind with carbon in the system, so I think it binds with the carbon to create your KH. You know what I mean? Something like that.
That's how it does it. Yeah. All I know is it doesn't raise your salinity, and I know it's delayed in its testing. What's people saying there?
24 hours. So, Paul, have you not thought of adding like kalkwas or anything?
Well, I just don't want another reactor. I don't want to put it in. I'm dreading.
You don't need to put it in RO.
Yeah, I dread putting it in the RO though, because I don't want to clog anything up as well. I've seen so many horror stories with it clogging it up, and
What,
don't know.
what,
The problem is
what
I don't have
top
an
up
apex,
do
so
you
I can't
use?
tell you if I've got a pH problem. I might have an amazing pH because I'm just using shit test kits on it. So
Yeah.
I don't trust them.
I started using Alpha Reef last week, and I mix up because we can't get the powder here in the US. So I just bought it and made my own. So this is it right here. Literally last week, I started putting it on. So I mixed up like
have
3
you gone
liters.
with that BRS method of making your
Yeah.
own then? Yeah.
Yep. Because we
That's
we
the
can't
cheapest way
get
as well. That's the cheapest way.
No, the
'cause
powder is the cheapest.
No, the powder's
no
probably the
powder.
cheapest.
Powder is way cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
By the
No.
powder, 1,600 grams, it makes 11 litres of Alpha Reef
Yeah.
for £40 or £45.
Oh, so you need
That's
to
for
look
11
Seymour up
litres.
then from the UK for
Oh,
something for once.
In the UK, you have Alpha Reef powder. We have to buy AK, biomagnesium, and carbocalcium to sort of mix it together to make Alpha Reef. But yeah, it's cheap. I'm up to 36 mil now.
So Paul, what are you buying then? You ain't buying that 1 litre bottle of it, are you?
No, all
Or
I've
mixed?
yeah. So what I did is when I first bought it, I just bought a load of it just because I thought I can't be asked to like do anything else. So I've literally got like half a litre left, and then I'm going to go with the powder. The other thing I've got that I've dusted off is like one of them old TMC Easy Stir things. So
Yeah.
the thing I don't like is that it can precipitate out when you mix your own a little bit, can't it, with a lot of things. And I don't know for Alpha Reef I've never used it, but I'm going to chuck that under the dosing container. So and then just chuck it on a timer to mix it sort of a couple of times a day as well. So
Woody bought the 5 litres of Alpha Reef.
does it split out? How does it look? Do you mix it, Woody, like, or do you just leave it?
No,
And
at
once
first,
it's
the only
mixed, it's
thing
all right?
I could find, because you didn't have the powder weren't out, but they were selling a 5 litre barrel of it, and it was like £70 for 5 litres. And I thought, oh, I might take that last ages. That'd be a couple of years for me. So £70 ain't too bad. So I bought that. I already had 2 litres of
I've
the.
not seen a 5. Where'd you get that from? I've not seen a 5 litre one. I've seen the litre ones.
It was on. I think you found it for me, didn't you, Paul?
Yeah, it was on Amazon.
Yeah, it was on Amazon, and you get it 70 quid, 5 litres of it, and now the powder's out. So I've got the powder as well. So I've probably got sort of 14, 15 litres of it sitting here.
Yeah. Because I've not mixed it yet, so I don't know how it mixes and how it sits.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm
I've
thinking if it
not even got to the stage of using my powder yet. I'm still using that 5 litre barrel of it.
Well, I know that the 1 litre bottles are 25 quid a pop.
That's what I'm saying. If you're doing
1
60
litre.
mil at 25, 25 quid a pop, it's going to work out a lot of money in the long run, isn't it?
No, yeah. Well, especially because it's going up now. I'm on about 65 quid a day now.
Yeah, so I mean that's going to be crazy money. That is.
Yeah.
Just get the powder.
I must admit.
Yeah, no, I think I'll do the powder and then I'll just put that Easy Stir underneath it, so it's keep, because I've got this thing about it splitting out and not being consistent. So
yeah.
Paul, what you want to do? Go on Amazon.d, right? German one, and just order it from there. It's free postage to here, and you get the 1,600 gram one there.
the big, so that's the big powder, yeah.
That's the big one, and it's I think it's about 40 quid. It makes about 11 litres.
Yeah, something like that, £40, and you think it makes 11 litres of it. It's just
that's the way to go, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unreal, isn't it? 11 litres, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
I've got like maybe half a litre or nearly a litre left, and I'm doing 60, 70 mil a day, so I'll have to make a decision pretty quick and get on it. I am very lazy also, so like there's that thing of I'll just order that next day. But yeah, the litre ones are not ideal.
I think
the thing that irritates me.
The modern world's made us all lazy.
Yeah, the shops are rare. You don't sell the 1,600 gram.
No, you can't. You can only get the smaller one.
I only found, what was it? All Things Aquatic, I think it's on Nathan Willar's channel. The only ones that I could find the bloody litre bottle from. The rest of them are all 500 mil, which is even worse value.
Well, I had to order the litre bottles from Germany.
Yeah, I found it on All Things Aquatic, who are down somewhere in Sussex, I think. They've got the litre ones in there, 25 quid, I think. But it's a lot, isn't it?
It is. It is a lot. It's, don't get me wrong, it's good stuff. Like when I started using it, I said to these, I hated doing the Triton because they went to. I like anything that's liquid form that you can just put onto a dose, so you ain't got to mix nothing up. And once Triton went to powders and all that, it pissed me off. So I said, right, I said to these lot, I said, I'm going Alpha Reef. And they went, oh, you're mad, it's going to cost you a fortune and all that. I went onto it and my tank had never looked so good. The corals just took off. The colours were insane. So literally everyone else changed over to it as well. And then it did start getting a little bit expensive because I went up to 20 mil a day, and I was thinking, God, it's getting expensive for my little tank. It's only about 140 litres.
Yeah.
And then then the powder stuff. No, it's just perfect way to go.
Yeah. But when you look at it, I know that's expensive. But if you look at the powder stuff, and then you compare that to say a 2-part where you've got 3 that you're doing, and then think about the trace elements. So if you were going to do a Red Sea program, you've got A, B, C, and then you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 bloody traces as well. And I'm just like, mate, that's too much for me. Like, I don't.
I prefer this just something simple, like having one thing to dose. Because I run at the minute I've got the Apex dose, so I've only got 2 dosing heads at the minute. Even though I've got some verses here, I've got a couple of 4-pack verses, but I just ain't.
They're worth about 1,500 quid a pop them now, aren't they? They're like gold dust.
Oh yeah, but I've got two 4-pack sets sitting here, so anyone want to make me an offer, they're ready to go. But so I like the idea of just having the one solution to dose, and then I'll
and it's the traces as well. The traces. That's
what I'm saying.
I don't want to mess around with
that. Absolutely everything. And then I use that.
The only thing I've found on ICPs I've had to back up and add more of, and it's the same as everyone you ever do, is a bit of iodine. So I have the Triton iodine, and I chuck 2 mil of that in a week.
I put two drips of iodine in once a fortnight, and that's it. It keeps me settled. But Acro Power and All for Reef is just you can't beat it.
I'm the same. It's working all right. Things are growing, so.
That's it. So that's all we want, innit? That's all we want as reefers, is just for our tanks to look healthy and our corals to grow. That's all you can ask for. You don't want it to be.
When you look at them Red Sea, like 4 trace element ones, like they split them all out, and then they're also like you're dosing them in line with it. And I just think it's all a lot. Like I know when I do that All for Reef, it's all one level of going in. If there's a massive deficiency, I think strontium's been a little bit down on mine a couple of times, but then recently it's gone off again. But it's only through Triton, so I tend to try and do a Triton every month.
I must say, I don't understand with the modern way of reefing, how simple things have got. People still use products like the Red Sea and all that. Go out and spend all that money on them mad different bottles.
People are scared of like that All for Reef, for instance. When like Jake Adams, who's one of them people who know everything, his comment on that the other week was, "I'll let other people try it first." So he's not even embraced it yet. And I'm like, surely if they want people to keep joining the hobby, you need to keep making it easy and easier and easier. And that's why there's so many more in it now than there was 15 years ago. And for me, carbocalcium is the way that people go. Like, and I'm sure someone else will find another formula and try and take truck Marion on. But this, for me, is the future.
It's just the way things go, innit? Everything progresses.
Gotta be.
Everything progresses. So there'd be, ain't gonna be long. Like in a minute, you can dose one thing for everything. Where before it went, it was 4 or 5 things. Then it went down to 3 with the balling method. Then it went down to 2. You could do 2 things like with the ATI stuff. And now someone's Tropic Marines found the way to do one thing.
The god will be when someone can find a Trident / GHL that does all of the major elements all in one without them using without the Reef bot using 400 different hobby test kits.
It'd probably end up with something like what the KZ done with their like tablet elements. They're like a rubbery sort of tablet you put in your something and let it dissolve. It'd probably end up being something like that. You just put this tablet in once a month.
A slow release tablet that gives you all the elements.
And then
like what they do with a hot tub, floating like floating a thing in a hot tub type thing. Just leaving it, chuck it in there.
It'd be like a bath bomb for your tank. I think the body shop's going to come out with it.
I'm still trying to see though. I've heard people say for like the Reef bot, they want to know nitrate all the time. And I still want to know, like, if you have nitrates like tested daily, like I've heard people say, adjust your lights based on your nitrate level, and I think that's like absolutely madness. I think sometimes
you're looking way too into it, then, didn't you? You sort of take
it's one of them. Seymour, just so with it, in a natural bit of the sea, the nitrate shot up. Is the sun going to turn down?
Exactly. Do you know what? I must admit, I know we keep saying about the modern way of reefing and all that, but I don't know anyone, or I don't see anyone this day and age is struggling with high nitrates. How can you struggle with high nitrates these days? It's insane. There's so many things out there that that's to prevent that. You know,
I don't
clarity,
think it's.
you know,
you
really,
actually
really good skimmers, efficient skimmers. All this.
you actually
biology
don't.
stuff.
You actually don't see people struggling with nitrates a lot, Woody. Like you see phosphates is what you see people struggling with. Phosphates and the imbalance, actually. Actually, you see a lot of people struggling with the imbalance.
What way is the imbalance though? It's always too low. These days,
Yeah,
it's
nitrate. No, I
low.
mean nitrate's too low, phosphates too
Yeah,
high.
it's
Like
always too low because of the hobby has got so advanced and the products have got so advanced that they strip out the nutrients faster than you can put them in, or the fish
when
can
I
put them in.
started that Reefer 250, I never even for 1 minute thought that I could have too low nutrients because I've come from a tank with live rock and I've had a gap for a couple of years. And I came in and just went, I'm going to have this surgically clean. And I watched the video back the other week. I'm like, you absolute melon. You just literally described how to achieve dyno in a video.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I had no idea that was even a thing.
But even you, Paul, 8 years you've been in the hobby.
Yeah.
When you first started, the fish shop or whoever the people you spoke to, they probably said to you, the key to success is getting rid of the nutrients.
Keeping
low
your
nutrients.
nitrates
Keep
low.
it.
And then they sold me a shitload of crappy rock that was full of nitrate and phosphate and every pest known to man, which I put in a tank and then overfed, and I absolutely proved them right.
Yeah, I was told the same thing. There's your test kits. When you do your nitrates and phosphates, once you get through your cycle, your nitrates and phosphates are the only ones you really need to look at. You don't want to see no colour in any of them. You want them to come back just like clear water, no pink in your nitrate.
You're doing well if you've got them under 20.
Yeah, and then so that's what you aim for. And you think, why is my tank? Right, I ain't got no nutrients in my tank, but why does my tank look crap? And then you realise, you know what I mean? It's
the annoying thing is that the gap that I had is probably the most advancement happened in that field. And then I came in with this grand plan to have this really clean tank, and absolutely, literally grew them within 5 months to a ridiculous amount. So yeah, no, I know all about that.
But yeah, it's just simple these days.
Do you know what? Going back to what we said before, though, about the Reef bot and all them other things, like I want a magic machine to do all them tests for me and be amazingly accurate and amazingly precise. But I don't want to go and use a hobby test kit in it because I feel like all I'm being is lazy. Don't get me wrong, I want to be lazy. Absolutely want to be lazy. But I don't want to go and buy something off the shelf that I could have done myself. I want someone to come up with a magic elixir. So when they've got the Trident out and the KH Keeper and they've got this little bottle of magic, it might be worse than the crap in the hobby test kit. But they've made me a solution and I believe in it and I'm like, fine. But I don't see how I can spend $1,000 and then go and buy a Salifert or a freaking API test kit and chuck it in this machine. That's just me being lazy. Like I want a magic solution, even if it isn't really magic. Tell me a lie, but give me the precision I want. Give me a little bottle that you're selling me with a label and this magic new elixir, and I'll pay you the money.
Londoner in you. That must be the Londoner.
Yeah, it is like I'll pay you the money, but don't sell me the same shit that I've just been buying and tell me I'm lazy. I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to be told I'm lazy. I want to be told I'm buying the future. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something, Paul.
They come out with a Mastertronic, and I said, as soon as I see it, I thought, this is going to be something unreal because of the Algotronic. And it's exactly the same as the Reef bot.
I had to go back. I went on to Darren on Reef Dudes twice and went, so you're telling me, I've watched the video and I've seen you do it, but so you're telling me this machine is using API test kits? And he's like, yeah, it's great. And I know Darren's wicked and I know but I'm just like, man, like I can do my own shit test kit. Like I'm not bothered about that. Like, but I know in his mind, he's in this state where he's like, I won't do it. So this is helpful. And I get that. And he's right. But man, I hate spending that money and then doing an API test kit or a Salifert. Like that's £10 to do.
I reckon I could employ an agency worker for £6 an hour to come around and do my test for me.
Like, yeah. The funny thing is, if Mastertronic gave you the same products with a different label on, I'd be like, this is amazing.
Exactly.
This is amazing.
Apparently, they are. I think they bought they rent the pattern or whatever off of Reefer, off Reef Connects. Yeah. So
I'll tell you something else, Paul. If you're dosing Alpha Reef and it's a balanced solution, you'll only have to test the alkalinity, like the phosphates and magnesium. You won't have to test as often. yeah, you won't have to test as often. You'll find that those things, and you're sending off ICP tests every 6 months. I don't know. I think, like, if you're using a calcium reactor when I was, or you're using like a balanced solution, man, you only have to test calcium like once every 2 months, once every.
Yeah, no, I'm finding that. I've never touched calcium. I mean, I put a bit of mag in because my mag was low, but I think that was before I was dosing it. But yeah, no, all the other things have been stable as.
Go super chatted.
Go super chatted.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with Woody when we were watching that. We were watching that video together about the Mastertronic, and I think we had that epiphany together. I'm like, wait a second, that actually I didn't think about it, man. With what GHL was talking about with the ion director, like, I just don't believe anybody, and how long we've been waiting on the Trident. I just don't believe anyone until the product comes out.
Yeah. So are you running is it the Hydros now you're on, Seymour?
Yeah. Hydros.
Yeah. So you would never go back to a Trident now? You're done.
No, I want I want a Alcatronic that measures out, or like a KH keeper. I'll do with the Trident was okay. It was very convenient, but it was very flimsy in terms of the build quality. I thought it was kind of flimsy, and after a while, calcium, magnesium. If you're using all for Reef,
a lot of people say that the calcium, magnesium on them over time, when you hit 12 months after on the Trident, that they become a little bit erratic. And I don't know whether that's the case or not, but
all I'm going to say is the product. The product has had its fair.
If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything.
Yeah, that's my mother. The product has had its share of issues, just like every other new product. But I know people that have. I know a guy. I don't think he'll mind me saying that, but you probably see him in chat. It's called Producer Reef. He has 3 Tridents, and 2 of them are not working. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I couldn't tell you about my one. He's still sitting brand new in the box on the floor.
It's just annoying because I like the look of it. I like the idea of it. I really want that to work, but like I'm still sitting there just.
No, you work. Like some people get duds, and some people have them and they have no issues with them.
Yeah.
But
I think I've been a bit burnt after KH Keeper as well, because that did not work for me one bit. I don't know if I had a faulty unit or what, but after initially setting that up, that was just jumping all over, man. And then when they sent, I spoke to them in Poland, and they were helpful. They were trying to be helpful, and I tried loads of different stuff. And then we finally tried it again, and then they put a firmware update out that just crashed every single one of them. And I'm like, this is just too new. Like, they've got some really good tech there. The unit's small. It looks nice. I had a period where it was really, really tight and precise, and I was thinking, this is really good, but they probably need another year or 2 to get that right.
It's everybody. When the Alcatronic is on version 3, so they had issues. The Neptune systems, like, I remember they've gone through issues where, like, the reagents, so it's on. They might not say it might just be the Neptune Trident, but they've had a couple of versions. The KH Keeper, couple of versions. Probably the GHL couple of versions. So when you're dealing with something new, even what's the one called from the KH Keep? No, not KH Keeper. KH Guardian.
Yeah. All right.
KH Guardian, which was that's like an alkalinity tester, and it also doses. That one had issues. The first versions were terrible. People hated them. So
I feel like the KH Keeper's there, and I feel like 2 versions down, they'll be right in that process. Because as you say, let's be honest with you, the KH is all we really need when we're managing the coral front. So if that could just be like, it had for me about 3 weeks where I was like, wow, this is dialed in, this is working, this is great. And then it just went 0.4 this way, 0.4 that way, and I'm like, what am I doing? I reset the whole thing, and I'm sitting there. Because I'm at home working from home every now and again as well, I'm able to test my alk every day if I want to, just to be sure. So I just weren't. Yeah, I was just like, this. I'm not sure this is £600 worth of value right now.
No, it's been spot on every time.
Yeah, and also the thing
to me, Hannah, it's worked.
The thing I like about the KH,
the thing I might have had a dodgy unit,
but we think also with KH testers.
Monks is having the same issue at the minute as well, isn't he? He's the same. He's saying it's a bit
erratic.
erratic.
He had some initially, then he got it right, and then when I spoke to him last week, I think it was, and I think he said he's still having a few issues. I don't know what they are, and I don't want to.
What's the issue? You said like 0.4 off. Like, what are you checking it with? Like the Hannah checker?
With the Hannah, but the problem I've got, right, and I know that the Hannah's got a level of throw backwards and forwards, and I know that then they came in. I also got an
What's up, Jeff?
Yeah. So the thing is, when I test with my Hannah checker every day, I end up with the same result usually, and then I dose slightly. I then have an Aquaforest one. I then have and at one point I checked with 3 Salifert, and I checked with all 3, and all 3 other 3 were reading the same. And then this was just jumping up and down, and it didn't go with the same pattern that it had for the last 2 weeks. So it wasn't even just because I was sitting there thinking, you need to keep an open mind here, because this could just be you're out jumping around. It could be changes you've done to the tank. And I was trying to be objective with it. But when you look at the previous 2 weeks and how it worked and what I was doing with the tank, and then it just started jumping. Then I reset it. Then the guys on the phone were telling me to do this, do that. And then it jumped up and down. They're like, yeah, no, that's still not. And they were agreeing with me. And I'm like, mate, this is weird. And then all the other test kits just stayed consistent. They stayed with the right dosing. And the only time I had a major change in alkalinity was when I made that change on the skimmer. And I was like, how can you go against 3 or 4 other routes that are working and really consistent? And then this thing jumped all over the place. So I just sent it back. I said to them, I mean, look, can you test it for me? Because I don't know whether it's me. I don't know whether this is really, really good and all the other things are crap. But I can't like work with a 0.8 swing in a day when 3 other test kits are not showing that.
I reckon it's that pH probe they use.
It comes dry.
It is such a weird little cheap thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it comes dry, and then also you're testing this. So my other beef with it is that you're testing when you calibrate that, you're calibrating it at 4 and 7. Yeah, our pH in our tanks is 8, whatever. Like, why are we not calibrating that at 7 and 9 or something within the range that we're actually trying to test for? I don't understand that.
Me and Paul was having this conversation when he got his one a few weeks ago or whatever. It's exactly the same thing. How it calibrates in a weird range.
Why are you calibrating in a low range when
it's
I
a low
haven't
pH
read it because
range.
I haven't got it, but surely the Neptune Apex you calibrate the probe at what 7 and 9? Yeah, I don't know.
7 and 10.
7 and 10.
7 and 10. Yeah, so within the range of what the hell you're testing for, and I'm sitting there going, you've sent me a dry probe when everybody else who does pH probes puts liquid on them.
I don't know whether it's because you have to test KH when you're doing it with pH, with KH, it has to test in the lower range. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an acid. It's an acid.
Must be.
No, it's an acid. It's an acid.
But also, they put the shit cheap. They put the shit cheap sachet type ones in. When come on now, I mean, what are the name? Oh God, what are they called? These ones. Hold on.
Pinpoint.
Amazon's Reef is 2 Peters. 2 A. Before we go anywhere else, Jeff's in the chat.
Pinpoint or.
Why have we got them when Milwaukee do that?
Yeah.
Come on now, that's £1, like in a really expensive place. Like, surely for 600 quid you could put me a liquid in, not some sort of powder that I've got to put 250 millilitres of water. I'll worry about the temperature. Like, come on, like that's the bit I'm just like that's shit. Like,
you know what? That's because it saves about 4 grams in shipping.
Yeah, it's nothing, is it? Nothing.
No. Mayor's Reefer here has ask Paul UK Reefer how his new fit filtration tank is.
Fit filtration.
I think he's got the wrong person, hasn't he? Fit filtration is up. Yeah, he said ask Paul UK Reefer how his new filtration tank. I think it's supposed to be fit filtration tank. Have you ordered a new tank?
Have I got a new tank?
Or ordered a new tank?
No.
No. Don't know what you're about there, mate.
I haven't. Not that I know of, unless Fit Filtration is sending me a new one that I ain't ordered.
Yeah, but you must be sponsored and you didn't know about it.
Ah, this is it. Like I'm getting them without even knowing. So filtration, I'll take a tank if they are really desperate to give me one. But yeah, I have no clue. Literally, the moment I got this one set up and I could get rid of the nano because I couldn't deal with like testing 2 tanks, I was like, that's send me under. I'm already like over obsessing on this one. Like I can't do 2. Like,
listen,
I mean, I'd love a frag tank to like start growing some corals out, but the idea of testing 2, mate, I can't even get this one right. Look at the troubles I'm having with the KH keeper. Nah.
There's one thing I've never been able to do is run 2 tanks.
Nah,
never.
I literally did it for about 2 months. My missus was like, I can see yours in it. And I was like, nah, I'm done already. I really don't love this one because I love that one more. And I try to keep a really tight angle on that one. I ain't doing that as well. I literally fell out of love with it.
I've even had frag tanks plumbed into my main display. So I've only got
Still
one lot of testing to do and all that, and I still neglect it.
It's not even tested. Yeah, literally, you love one tank. Like, I watched, there was a Mac chat a few years back on it about that, exactly that, and it was just like, don't care what you're doing, you're always going to love one more than the other, and the other one's going to go to shit eventually. And I saw that already. Like, it was an instant thing. Like, I love my little nano. It was growing out. I did a year on it. I'm growing SPS. Like, the channel was going well with it. And literally, that thing cycled. I chucked a few bits and pieces. I even fragged a couple of SPS, and I was like, right, this one is the one. I'm not bothering with that anymore. Like, I just, it was instant. So, yeah, no.
It's like if you've got a couple of kids, you've always got a favourite one, ain't you? You know what I mean, that one gets to go to college.
Yeah, I did say did I on record? Yeah, no. Yeah, you just can't. Yeah, you just can't give the other one the love. Like the idea of testing the alkalinity on this one, then having to do it again. You're like, nah.
I've tried everything.
There's so many people on YouTube that run multiple ones, and I'm like, mate, I'm working from home. I've got that excuse though. I'm working from home. I could run 5, and I can't. I just can't even stand the idea of doing that more than once.
No.
I'd rather test that one twice. I've test that one twice.
Tank, simplest thing in the world. Even that, 2-3 months it lasted.
Yeah.
And that's soon gone.
My son the other week, my tank that I used for the auto top up on that, it was like a Petset Open 28 litre one, and I realised very quickly that ain't going to do shit in a 400 litre tank. So I took it up to his room. I was like, look, if you put a heater and a little filter in that, you can have a couple of tropical fish. Do you want that? And I bought him like a 15 quid light on it and all the rest of it. And he was really into it for 2 weeks while we bought a couple of fish, and then he was instantly bored and not having any of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that for me, I just keep going up there. My missus like, that one looks like shit. I was like, I don't care. If you don't clean it, it's going in the bin. But I'm not doing tropical. I don't even like him anyway. I did that because I thought I might get him into it, and he's not bothered. It's one bit. So yeah, no, I've tried it.
I've done the same thing with my son. A few months ago, we had a 25 lagoon, all full of corals, fish.
Yeah,
it was lovely. He was looking after it for a couple of months, and then that was it. Then my missus used to go to me, his tank's looking a bit dirty, the glass and all that. I said, well, I told him he's got to look after it. If he wants a tank, he's got to look after it. I spent a fortune on this thing. Yeah. And then he went, I can't.
See, but he should have on my room and put a little cheap heater in and a couple of guppies, and I've done him in with about 2 weeks with that. It's a lot cheaper. But yeah, no, I can't do more than one. I'm not for that at all.
Hats off to these, so you see some of these YouTubers and whoever else have got these multiple tanks, and they all look amazing.
I've got no excuse right now. I could run 5. I'm working from home, and I have been for a year. Like, I'm lucky. When I go back to work, this is what I'm trying to think about automation more, because I know I'm not going to be able to spend the time I've got with that now. Now, at some points, I'll finish what I'm doing with it and think, right, what else can I do? And there's nothing to do with it, because I've got stuff to. But I know for a fact the moment I go back to work, I ain't got that time. So no way, not having it.
I wish I had that.
It's more that I'd love a frag tank for all the bits and pieces I can chop off that. And I did some Duncan frags today and all that, but I'm just like, I'm just going to get bored of it because it ain't the main tank. So, but I was showing Paul the other week. I tried a couple of higher end SPS in it, and it's still very young for some of the ones I was putting in. And the problem as well is that whilst I followed the BRS sort of light series on the G5s, which is really useful because they show you sort of height and intensity and all the rest of it, it's a really good one. I'm still waiting for a decent spectrometer because I had a Senai to check the par, and it was all over the shop, and I checked on the Nano as well over the shop. So what I've decided is I was waiting for Kraken. Dom at Kraken got a Spectra, Senai Spectra, which is a decent bit of kit, and he's going to rent it out or whatever, but it damaged it. So I'm waiting for that to be fixed. I can just be absolutely sure that the par and all the rest of it's right. But I put a strawberry shortcake in that, put it to the top of the tank way too quick, and melted it in seconds, unfortunately. So it was a lovely piece. It's a lovely frag as well.
The thing is, they're one of them ones. You asked Paul here. They're one of them corals that they either do really well or you've got no chance with them. It's just one of them corals.
The funny thing is I had like a Miyagi Tort or whatever I can't remember. It's Miyagi something or other.
Miyagi Tort.
It's beautiful. And I put that in at the same time, and that thing is glowing and it looks amazing. And I followed the same process. But like, I can't moan. Like, it was from Signature Frags, and their gear, their mustard, the corals are lovely. But I think I moved it up to the top way too quick. And I initially put the frag in the sand, and he was saying like, look, you're better off on a frag rack so it's out off the sand and off the gravel, but then just leave it for ages and leave it up high. But mate, this thing stripped quicker than a cheap brass. It was out of there well quick. So
what sort of percentage do you run? You like your overall brightness? What do you run on your lights?
So I'm using this phone, so I can't tell you exactly, but I'm running like an AB plus, and then I've put the whites up during the day. So all the blues are at full lot, and then the whites are quite high as well. But in overall intensity, what I did is follow the BRS intensity guide to get the sort of the par between sort of 200 to 300 across the tank. So I followed that. I've also got the diffusers on, so I know that came to par as well. So I slightly adjusted it slightly higher, but not massively. So I don't feel like I'm far off of the BRS guide for SPS with it, based on the size of the tank, the height, all that sort of stuff. But I haven't had a decent par meter on it that I can trust, and I know that the higher end ones, like the sort of 5 series of the Apogees or the Spectra, where the sort of 700-800 quid ones, I know I'm going to get legit readings. So I'm thinking, look, I don't think I'm far off, but at some point I'd like to just test it. I like. Sorry, Paul.
No, it's not. My dog's trying to jump on me.
I don't know for sure. I don't. Yeah. I don't think I'm far off, but I'd like to know for sure. And I've got a horrible feeling that it's slightly too high on the basis of
what is your overall intensity then? Do you run them at 100% or 80% or
no? It's down at like 50. It's down at like 50 because I followed the It's no. Hold on a second. Hopefully it won't cut me off. Let me just spit on my Mobius and tell you.
Seymour
mints are a little bit stronger.
Seymour, he's fell asleep again, isn't he?
Liverpool are shite, would it?
Yeah, they are. Honestly.
Don't be a wanker. I mean,
right. Seymour, what's your overall intensity of your lights? Because you've got 230s over your tank, yeah, even though they're blue.
I've got 230s and a 15 in the middle.
And what's the overall intensity of yon at max? The highest period during the day?
I'll tell you right now, mate. I'm opening Mobius. I'm navigating to my 14 Ecotech devices.
What you got for free, every single one of them?
Nah, man.
Oh, Paul pressed the wrong button.
My overall intensity, mate, is...
I got myself cut off, sorry.
It's all right, mate.
70% at the brightest point during the day.
70%.
Yeah, but I don't think it goes that bright because, I don't know, 70%.
Yeah,
what's your overall?
Your whites are down.
70%. 70% is my overall, and I keep everything at 100.
Reds as well and all that, yeah.
Everything.
Because he's got the blues, he just goes 100% on everything to get that AB plus.
Yeah, man, I don't get that white.
So I
white lights over here.
Add the extra white, and my highest intensity, as just checked, is 56%. But when you've got 2 30s together, the center spot gets hot apparently. So I don't know.
You move them out to the edge a little bit.
Yeah,
you know.
But I mean, I don't know until I get this spectrometer. But I'm thinking I'm in a safe range with 56%, surely.
Yeah, if you look at the
BRS right there, that's similar. That's a similar path on mine.
Yeah. If you look at the BRS results, where BRS does it, you'll be pretty close to where they are.
So they were running the XR30s in the same circumstance without the diffusers on, in the same range for the same sort of tank, and they were running at about 52. So I added 4% for the par, and I just thought that's a safe zone. But like I stripped the life out of a couple of SPS, and I don't know whether it's really strong, but I'm thinking 56%. I'm not exactly like busting it, am I?
Turn on feed mode.
So, no, mine's with diffusers.
Yeah, I just think I can't be far.
Tyler, use pellets.
55 with diffusers.
Yeah. I don't think it's
far. You're under the blues. You're under the blues, though, aren't they, as well? So your whites are a lot lower.
Yeah, I've got no whites on. 0 whites, 0 reds, 0 green.
Yeah, so you run
Well,
it
I'm
like
waiting
me.
for this Spectra. I'm going to give it a little punt anyway.
Tyler in the
Dom
background.
sent this thing off. Yeah.
Sorry, I just see Tyler trying to creep past in the background. Right, speaking of kids, let me go and get mine off the computer. 2 seconds.
All right, we
Yeah,
can't
so
find
I'm
the fish
thinking
food. I'll be right back.
Woody, guess what?
What's that, mate?
The Friends reunion episode, 27th of May.
Oh, yeah, I heard they was doing it. Seymour, you going to watch that?
Just the wife.
Is everyone still there?
You just talk to Paul, Woody, while I'll just chat to Kelly.
All right, mate. Yeah, go on.
I think we've lost most, haven't we?
I don't know. Is the I don't know. I ain't seen nothing come up on the chat as it goes.
Yeah, we got
No
there.
questions
Just Bordeaux
or-
with the last one.
I don't even know how many people are watching.
Yeah, no, it's hard because I haven't got the other app going. I'm only using this phone, so I can't see the
Yeah,
chat
it's the
without
same. I've got,
cutting the
I've got
stream
the
off.
phone going for StreamYard. I've got the
Need to-
tent
yeah.
on, so I can
Need to
see
get
the
an
chat.
iPad
but can't see how many people are on. Seymour, can you see how many people are on?
I think he's off doing so.
He always is, mate.
No,
He's
no.
either
Sorry, I
falling
was
asleep-
Actually, I've got it on
feeding
the
my
other phone.
fish. I was feeding my
Got it
fish and this.
On my work phone, I'm
Gosh.
saying 13 watching.
6. It says 6 to me.
Oh, it's gone down to 6 now,
6. That's
Yeah.
all 4 of them are us.
yeah.
Who's the other 2?
No, you're not going on the live stream. No, you're not.
Who's that? Christian. Christian. What are you doing, little man?
Tell him to come. Let him hear your British accent. Come.
Oh, yeah. I love Americans doing British accents. Come on.
Come. Let him hear your British accent. Say, hey, what's up, mate?
Hey, what's up, mate?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good as it goes, wasn't it?
That's pretty good, yeah. And what's even funnier
Considering
is,
he's got a
is
really
it-
strong New York accent.
and you need to get
Oh,
Paul
he
to do
doesn't.
this. Mancunians doing Southern accents. That's even funnier.
Paul only
Oh
knows
yeah,
how to
Paul
talk
does.
one way.
Yeah, Paul tries to do that.
Can he do
No.
it? Because most of them sound
Every-
ridiculous.
Every accent that Paul tries to do, it sounds like this. Making a bloody show, mate. You tell him, you say, do a Jamaican, making a bloody show, mate. Well, he could do Yorkshire and he could do Newcastle, but
Oh,
everybody
no, he
else
can't.
is mixed.
Yeah, see, when you're in the north, them sort of corridors, you've got like a way in because of like the accent you've got. But yeah, like some Southerners can do Northern accents, but Northerners can't do Southern accents, I have to say. And I'm a man who lives in the north of England and has been for 10 years now. So even my cousins, they're all from up here and none of them can do a Southern accent. They all sound ridiculous. So, but then when you say Southern accent and you've got an American there, that's a whole different thing, isn't it? Because that's like a Southern accent. That's like a cowboy accent, isn't it? So more like if you were going to say someone speaking Southern, would that be like a cowboy type thing, or I don't know?
So let me say, I'm amazed. I always tell Woody this. I'm amazed that a country that's so small relatively has so many different accents because it's like, I think the entire England can fit into the state of New York, and we don't have as many accents as
Crazy,
you do. Like, I can't believe like somebody from Manchester sounds so different than Liverpool, and you're so close. Yeah, or Paul is from Ashton, and then someone from somewhere else in Manchester will sound completely different. It's like different. So I like, Trent. When Trent first played for Liverpool, I remember I was talking to Woody, and I needed to go to the Liverpool forum. It was like he gave an interview. The first game he played against United, he gave an interview after the game, and I needed to go to the Liverpool forums. It's like, what did the kid say? They were like, oh, he was thanking the manager, the gaffer, for giving him a chance because he's like, oh, the gaffer, no chance to prove myself.
Some UK accents are hard to understand. Like, yeah, definitely. They are.
So, Paul, whereabouts in Manchester are you then? Or up north for you?
I'm kind of northeast of Manchester, on the edge of West Yorkshire, but basically I can get into Manchester in about 20 minutes. So I'm
when you met up with Paul the other day, how long did that take you to to meet
Right,
up
that
with
was
him?
15 minutes. Like that was
Oh,
in
no,
Oldham. So Failsworth is near Oldham, which is basically kind of in between where me and Paul live. So I live a little bit more rurally. It's a little bit more because I was saying like I used to grow up like being on the tube in London 5 hours a day for work, and I was like, if I'm going to move up north, I've got to be near fields and shit because I can't go and live in the
You live
city
close to the
anymore.
moors? You live close to the
I live
moors?
I live in the Pennines. Yeah, I'm like in the middle of nowhere, so it's nice.
Oh, so Paul goes there all the. I see sometimes Paul will show us when he's driving through the moors or something.
Yeah.
So I know.
No, I
he always,
kind of live out. I live out that way. I can still get into Manchester and have my city fixed, but I'm like, I've got. I need to be in the countryside. Otherwise, I might as well be in London. And yeah, the worst thing about London is Londoners, unfortunately, because they're just busy. And I hear
it's
they're
like
quite similar to New Yorkers. I'm not going to lie.
very
On the
Woody.
commuting front. Is it the
Woody
same?
is the
Woody?
same
You've
thing.
known both. You've known both.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Is it the same thing? Everyone
Yeah,
in a
well,
rush.
even like when we was in New York, Seymour and all that was saying like, oh, what do you think? And I said, this is just normal to me. This is like where with Paul, he was like, oh, this is too much. This is there's too much going on. There's people everywhere. I'm like, no, this is normal to me. It's like
I used
home
to go
from
to work
home.
under someone's armpit, and then someone else would have a swear like and have a moan about something, and then the people would like run in front of people with a pushchair to get on and in front of them to get on the train without giving a shit. Like that's, and I was just like, eventually, I was like,
No, it's
I
not
can't
that.
do
It's
this
just I went to. Remember the first time as a young man, I went to Minneapolis, police in Minnesota, and I'm like going somewhere. I remember this lady's like, "Good morning." I'm like, "Oh," and then somebody else says, "Good morning." I'm like, get away from me. You're weird. Like, why are you saying good morning? Like, is something wrong with you? Is something wrong with me? Do I have something on my nose? You know, but if you stop and you say good morning to everybody in New York or London, you never get anywhere because you're talking to everyone all the time. So you just, and it's not like you're rude. You ask for help in New, it's just, you just get on your way.
It's exactly the same analogy where I live. I live on the canal, like right in a beautiful place, and you walk down the canal and people are just talk to you just generally as you're walking past. Not even just like hello. They'll be like, "How are you?" And you're like, "I don't even know who you are. I just wanted to go and take the dog out." Like it's ridiculous. And when I first moved up here, I was used to it because I spent all my school holidays up where I live now. But my wife is from like inner city London, and she was just like, "This place is ridiculous. Why do these people want to know? Like, what have I done?" Like,
everyone's too busy. Why?
Even like when you go into the shops I live in like a village, and when you go into the shops, even now, I've been here like 9 years, and you walk in and they still look at you like, "What are you here for a holiday? And what are you here for? Like, why?" Like, it's crazy, and like, it's not.
I
even
work
like,
in Memphis. I work in Memphis, and whenever you go somewhere, like my wife came to Memphis, and people keep looking at her. They look at us funny, but they look at her funny, like, you're not from around here.
Yeah,
are
because
you?
Anika's a proper New Yorker. She's got the accent. She's got the.
But she didn't even talk yet. No, she doesn't even. She didn't even talk yet.
She's got
you just look
that
like people
demeanor.
could just tell, like, you're not from this area. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if it's skin. Like, you could just tell, like, somebody's not from around here, just the way they move. But you know what? To be honest, you could be in some New York. You could go in some really rough neighborhoods in Brooklyn, and people just look at you, size you up, and just like. He's not from around here. If I'm taking the bus, like I don't drive, so I take the bus a lot. If you take like a long bus ride, you could see the bus go from community to community and how it changes. And you're like, yeah, this is different. You just look up. It's just, you know, I don't know how to say it. It's like, it doesn't matter how people dress. They could be dressed in the nicest clothes. You could just look at them and say, yeah, they're not from around here.
It's just no different to me. It was like crazy. Home from home. That was honestly all it was just walking. It was like walking around London, but with just different accents. That's all it was for me when we was in New York.
That's why I was like, get out of London. Like I wanted to just go and live somewhere a bit more rural. Like I've done the whole week. Growing up in London's wicked. Like it was brilliant. Like going out every night and do what you want. But like when you want to settle down, I was just like, no, I'm done with that. So
I'm originally from Jamaica, and honestly, like, it's like I never even left. Like you literally, I've seen so many people just walking around that I went to school with in Jamaica. So you can get Jamaican food you want, any Jamaican food, Jamaican spices. So it's almost like you never really left. So anywhere in New York you are, if you're Chinese, Indian, no, you can live in a community with people around you. You can have like Coney Island, Brighton Beach is a lot of Russians and a lot of Jews, and even if you're Jewish, there's certain, like you could live in any community. You'll have Hispanic communities, Caribbean communities, Haitian communities, Chinese communities. It's there's a Chinatown in Manhattan and in Brooklyn. So no matter where you are in New York, you could find your own little community, to live in where, you have similar people around you.
Yeah, that's definitely not the same where I am. It's so backward village. Yeah, it's like village mentality. It's brilliant and it's lovely, but yeah, they're not advanced in any shape or form. But I just like the simplicity. I like the simplicity, and I can go into Manchester and like the city. So yeah, I'm quite.
What'd you do for a
You know why the wife rang me up?
Go on.
Because they sent her to a bit of the hospital with empty wards, and she had to go into 2 empty wards. And she's like, "I'm not going out, it's all creepy." And I said to her, "Who's that lady stuck behind you then?" Shit herself.
That's the Jimmy Savile ward, that is.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right, gents,
I said to her, "Do you remember that film that we watched, The Nun?" She's like, "Stop it, stop it."
I don't like.
Imagine ringing me up.
All right, boys. I think it's time to end the stream.
Yeah, I need to get going. But good speaking, gents. I'll jump on the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Right.
You're my new favorite Paul in Manchester. All right.
But Seymour is
what's
still the biggest prick in New York.
It might be in Manchester, but he sounds like me, so that's even better.
Yeah, people don't think I'm in
Best of both worlds, mate. It's a best of both. You know what?
At least
You're my favorite person in Manchester.
Would it? Have you ever thought we've got a Manc, a Cockney, a Manc Cockney, so we don't need Seymour no more?
Well, there you go.
But you need the diversity. There's no color in there.
We
man.
need that. We have to have the Jamaican.
Right, so we've got a man of colour, we've got Paul, we've got me, and we've got Woody, the chick with a dick. So let's go, we got it, let's go.
All right, gents.
Have a good evening, yeah? Good chatting.
Right, you too, mate.
All right.
We'll speak
See
soon.
you all soon. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.
Layers.